Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation.
All right, man. This new screen is really killing me. I gotta figure this thing out. Let me try it again. It's not changing. Hold on, give me a second. There we go. All right, welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Happy New Year to you. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and everything else. There we go. I ain't know how to get it right. I'm sorry, man. I was trash. I was absolutely trash. My bad. There we go. Yeah, it took me a while, but I got it right. They ain't no be hating on me. Anyway, man, let me go ahead and introduce the crew. First of all, man, to my right, playing on the daggone drums, we got Quan. And then below that, go ahead, brother.
No, I was just saying Happy New Year, everybody. Shout out to Portia, You
don't ever give me a chance to go ahead and get
No.
You was
if you're not first, you're last.
You was not going. Well, first of all, I was first, but I needed to get it out first. Golly, man, I'm trying to introduce you, man. God dang, you don't even be letting me get it out, man. But go ahead. Go ahead. Since you want to go ahead and have it, just go ahead and have it.
Shout out to Portia and the Spartan Legion. Real talk. I feel like I'm an honorary member of the Legion, even though I'm not.
You're not. I can tell you right now, you're not.
That's a bit. But man, the way I screamed at that TV, y'all, people thought I was crazy. I'm just telling you. Awesome job, man.
Well, and we also have Portia. There we go.
Happy New Year 2023 to everybody.
Yeah, we are going to have a super duper panel today. This panel is going to be super jam-packed. I don't know how we're going to get through it, but we're going to get through it today. But I do myself, because obviously this is, what we always do before everything gets started. We definitely have some band things to talk about. Really, it's really just been one thing that's been happening. And that is right now the Spartan Legion and the Rose Bowl. First of all, I want to say shout out to Justin for going down there and doing his thing with the Spartan Legion. For me, it was super dope to be able to see somebody down there with the Legion capturing everything from beginning to end. So I thought that was super dope. I could have swore I saw Killer Kev out there. So shout out to Killer Kev, man. I'm so glad.
Him and Chris drove from Detroit. Yeah.
Man, yeah. I'm so glad to see Killer Kev out there doing his thing, man. Absolutely. So shout out to Killer Kev. It was a couple more cameramen out there, but man, when I saw Kev walking on the side, I was like, man, my man's back. So definitely shout out to him, man. It was super, super dope to see him. I definitely have some things to say, and I know, Portia, you're gonna talk some things, or maybe you're not, because you're probably tired of talking about it. But I know for me, I don't know, man. It was just super dope to be able to see the Legion out there. Norfolk's performance for me was, one of those that was like indescribable. From top to bottom, from the passing review to the field presentation to the Disney performance and the Rose Bowl parade itself, it was just like, I don't know, it was just one of those things that will sit with me forever. So like, I kind of looked at it as like it was a culmination of like hard work, from like Chief and Emery Fields to Owsley Walker to Dr. Sanford to Paul Adams to Mr. Bethea, Ms. Sanders, and everybody who's been a part of the staff for all the years. So I feel like that was just the culmination of all that. So hats off to the home team. I can definitely say I'm truly one proud Spartan, man. So behold the green and gold, man. That's all I can say, man. I was just 100% super proud to see that, man. So I just had to put that out there. I'm done. That's all I had to put out there for that. If y'all got something else, y'all go for it.
I do. So this is what I want to say. No, I do want to say, man, I truly appreciated the overall aspect of the show. Meaning, I think the best things that HBCU bands could offered was given in that show, and it wasn't no like shucking and jiving. It was like butt kicking, playing, high energy marching. The outfits of the hot ice was on point, and it even complimented with the flags from the Silkettes. Like everything was like on point for me. Like that was a really top tier show. And for a person that honestly did that same parade and band fest, like I felt like y'all brought nostalgic back from for me in the Storm, because it was 14 years ago that we marched in that same parade. So man, it was awesome. We're talking. So good job, entire Legion staff. It was fire.
All right, Portia. I don't know if you got. I know you probably tired of talking about it, but if you got something,
No, it's okay.
floor is yours.
Maya's here. She put it in the chat.
She is. It's
Yeah.
crazy because we got a panel full of people, so I can't see where she's at. So, okay, there we
Yeah.
go. I got you. Okay. Hey,
Maya.
Howdy.
I barely got a voice, as you can tell. I'm tired. Let me say that. I've been asleep most of the day. I am like, oh my gosh, but it's all for the good. Those students went out there and did an amazing job from top to bottom. They performed every time they were required to. They were just, there are those moments in marching band where everybody's locked in, and it creates this atmosphere and this performance that lives a lifetime. And that is what we saw. The staff, all of us talked about it when they were on the field of that band fest. I was like, good gracious. They just from top to bottom. And the love that our alumni have shown, and even people who had never heard of us before since those performances this weekend, has been absolutely amazing. It was so crazy. We knew that they offered packages to our alumni, but I know at the end of the band fest, right when they were lining up for Behold, we heard this Behold in green and gold that was so loud. We was like, how many people are here? And it just, from the time we stepped off the plane, by the end of the parade, it was people that knew nothing about Norfolk State yelling Behold in green and gold as we walked by. And so we had one dope experience was I think he was the percussion instructor for the Blue Devils. He asked us who was in charge of our percussion section, and him and Sean chopped it up. The band director from USC was there. There were just so many interactions that were priceless for the students, for the band staff. I think one moment that I'll never forget is we were at the House of Blues for the farewell dinner. And one of the Keon on the band staff said, the president is looking for you. I'm like, of what? And she was like, the university. And I was like, okay. So I go over there and I say, hey, how you doing? And she's sitting next to Miss Sanders. And she said, she was wondering who was in charge of the Silkettes. She had learned their name from Miss Sanders. And she said, I just want to compliment you. I've never seen anything like that. They're just so together. They're so on point. They perform from top to bottom. And I just want to commend you. And I was like, okay, thank you. And at the time, 2 other alumni Silkettes walked up, and we just had an amazing conversation. I went and got the girls. She told the girls. They took a picture with her. It was just so many opportunities that we'll never forget. And I'm super, super proud of those students. And then when we got back last night, we found out for the Crucial Conflict Awards, the Silkettes and the Spartan Guards won Color Guard of the Year. So it was just, a combination of things, and just express how proud I am of the entire Spartan Legion, the staff, the president of the university. Shout out to her. She is so supportive. She had our back, to all our admin that went with us on the trip and support us. We appreciate you. And this has just been an amazing experience. I'm old and I'm tired, but it was well worth it. So that's my spiel.
So I'm gonna say this real quick, and then we're gonna let Maya get in here. She got some, Lord Jesus, why my baby crying in the background. But anyway, what I'm gonna say is, you know, my LB put it up on Facebook, and he was like, he's so proud that everybody has been posting everything on YouTube, on Facebook, and he's made it a point to watch every single thing that everybody has put up, you know, and I've kind of been doing that because some people video just be phony, you know, they be grainy videos, and you know they still on the 720, we on 1080 and 4K. But one of the videos that I saw was from a Legion member, or it may have been just somebody from Norfolk State, an alumni of Norfolk State, in the stands. Tell me why I saw somebody with the helmet on.
Oh yeah, she is a Legion alumni. Yes. Huh?
Was that Pooh?
No, it was not Pooh.
Okay.
No, but she is a Legion alum, and she also wore it when we were in Houston.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, that's one of the things, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to be that guy, but I always wish I had a piece of the old uni. And
well, it's not even an official Legion helmet. She has, like, you remember like 2 years ago when we had the twins and they all had those like 300 Legion ones. It's like a female one of those.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not like a Legion helmet. I forgot what they were. Yeah, it's not like a Legion. It's like one of those. Okay. And every time she wear it, she is a conversation starter, is what she said. And, you know, that's the way she lets people know what she's representing, who we are, what we're about. And so now it's like a staple. We expect it from her now. But I did want to say this one thing before Maya goes. I want to shout out the entire HBCU community. They have been, I'm talking about, the support has not just come from our own. Like, I've seen so many people from so many universities congratulating us, hitting us up, you know, sharing, you know, giving us our props. And I just really appreciate that. You know, I haven't seen any hate, you know, or any negative comments. And I just want to shout us out for holding each other down. So I'm done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Maya, what you got for us? Good to see you. You cold?
Good morning. I am.
You chilly in there?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ice cold or you just chilly?
I plead the fifth.
Okay, I tried. All right.
I'm AC cold.
Okay. I mean, you can like change that because it's your crib. I'm just saying you don't have to sit there and be cold.
The atmosphere is setting for the sleep, okay? Because it has to be cool when you're sleeping. So I just gotta let my body, because I'm not under the covers yet.
Right. Because
this is where it needs to be.
Because when you're freezing, you got to have a reason to wrap up. You know, I feel you. I got you.
Yeah, so this is just my introduction to tonight.
Got you. Yeah. All right, man. That was a very quick synopsis of everything that's going on, man. Now we need to get into today's show. Today, we are talking. We brought the Greek show back. I felt it necessary to bring the Greek show back. There are a couple of things that we're gonna, you know, come back to, and the Greek show was one of them, man. A lot of people have been saying that they wanted to get another one in, so I'm definitely gonna get another one in today. And with that being said, like I said, we have a lot of guests in here, so we're gonna start bringing them in. As we bring you guys in, I'm just gonna call you out, ask you to introduce yourselves, and you know, we'll go from there. So here we go. If the room gets real full, it's because we got a lot of stuff that we got going on. A lot of people here. So as we bring them in, there we go. Let me bring boom. Let's see. Let me try to bring in. Looks like they in the car. Let's see. Boom. Am I missing one? Did I get everybody? I think I got everybody. All right. So as we are here right now, first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and let you all introduce yourselves, and just let and tell what organizations you're a part of. I mean, obviously we can see the brother with the Omega sci-fi shirt on, so we know what organization he's a part of. So we'll start with Brother Jafar. Did I say it right? I don't want to get it wrong. Jafar,
you did a great job. You did a great job.
All right, so we'll start with Brother Jafar, and then we'll just keep going from there. So just introduce yourself, and tell us something about you, and then your organization.
My name is Jafar Millage. I'm an educator. Been one for 23 years. I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. I've been in this game 23 years, and I'm still loving it. That's all I got.
Absolutely. All right, then we got Brother Mike Larry. Go ahead, you got it.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? My name is Larry, but I developed this alias a long time ago, and people don't even know my real name no more, so I just go by Mike Larry. I'm a member of Kappa Kappa Psi, National Honorary Band Fraternity, the Delta Psi chapter. I'm also a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. J5 is coming. Better hide your girls. And also a Freemason as well. So I pledge a lot.
You made a couple wrong turns. All right, E hair. I don't E hair. There we go. That's what I see. So I'm gonna call you what I go ahead.
No, that's cool. Good evening, everyone. My name is Everett Harris Sr. Have the privilege of being the principal in Houston ISD, member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, also a brother of the Masonry, also 100 Black Men, Director of Education here in Houston, and just trying to set an example for these kids out here.
All right, cool. And last on my screen, I had to do this one last because if I am not mistaken, and please, if I'm wrong, correct me. But first of all, she is a member of my home sorority sister chapter of Tau Beta Sigma. But she is not only that, she is the first. I gotta do it a little green. The first, no, okay, I ain't gonna do that because I get in trouble. But the first female drum major at Norfolk State University. So go ahead and introduce yourself. I ain't gonna steal your thunder.
Oh, we can hear you.
Oh no, we can't hear you. Are you unmuted? Smiths. We can't hear you. Make sure you're unmuted, and then I always say if we can't hear you, go out and then come back in.
That was a hell of an introduction, though, man. You said
it was, man. I tried. I set it up. I set it up real nice, man. I put the pins up, and I was ready for her to knock them down. But it's all good, man. It's technology, man. I ain't gonna blame her at all. So yeah, just go out and come back in. And then I think we got somebody else backstage. Let's see here. Yeah, we do. All right. All right. So we got all these people. I don't know. She came in and left. All right. So yeah. So this is like the Greek episode. I'm gonna try to get it in. Listen, for all you people who have never been on the show before, I keep it super laid back. I want you to try to get into the discussions as much as you possibly can. Whatever you feel, it's okay for you to say, as long as you are able to defend what you say, because some people may disagree, and it is what it is. All right. So that's as much as I'm gonna say. The only thing is, because we have so many people on the panel today, typically I like to go through one by one, but that'll take way too long. And I know some of y'all got some things y'all need to be doing. So I'll probably bounce around, but if you want to interject, I have no problem with interjecting with anything that you may agree and or disagree with. So with that being said, let me go ahead and start it out the right way. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and tap that like daddy right now. Don't even wait for it. Just hit it. Just hit it. As soon as you walk into the room, hit it. All right. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passion Is Network and turn on all your notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcast networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. All right. So this is how I'm gonna start it. Let's see if we can get it back in here. Let's see. Are you live now? I'm
Can
here.
you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. There we
There
go.
we go.
All right, go ahead and give your introduction because I don't want to mess that thunder up.
I don't know. You kind of killed it. I don't know if I can follow up behind it.
No, you can. You got it. You got it. I support you.
Hi there, everybody. My name is Kiara Jackson. I am a member of the Epsilon Sigma chapter of Tau Beta Sigma here at Norfolk State University. And I am the current co-drum major for the Spartan Legion.
There we go. There we go. We got it in there, and I'm assuming you heading back to the room, right?
Oh, I'm actually heading to a audition for a jazz group.
Well, look at that. You better get your thing on.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. So let's go ahead and get this started. So the first question I have, I know that the last time that we had our Greek episode, we already talked about the things or the reason as to why we chose to pledge the organizations that we pledged. For me, and just to make it clear, I'm very similar to Larry in the idea that I did a lot of stuff. I ain't gonna talk about high school, but definitely I'm an Alpha. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, but I'm also a member of Kappa Kappa Psi National Honor Band Fraternity Incorporated, as well as Phi Mu Alpha, as well as a member of Masons. So I've a lot of stuff going on. We ain't even gonna talk about the unnecessary things you probably do in college. So but so we've already kind of given our spiels as to why we chose to do our organization. So I'll start with Jafar. What made you want to be a member of Omega Psi Phi?
The seed was planted for me early and I didn't know it. A man by the name of Stan Mosley. I was raised in his house and I didn't know he was the bros. And then as time passed on in life, you know, you go into high school, everybody wanted to be the cute dog, but I was the only one who went through. Everybody else did their thing. And I linked back up with him about 4 years ago, remembering once again that I did not know he was Omega, but he was the poster for our cardinal principles, and he lived it. I saw it. I knew what it was. I could describe it to you in real life and textbook. So anyway, that's all I ever wanted to do. Now I won't lie, the Sigmas wanted me. They tried twice, but this Omega Psi Phi, that's all I really wanted. Something about that purple and gold makes my heart beat a little faster than normal.
All right, I got you. I'm gonna wait on Larry because I want to hear this one. He know why. I ain't gonna. I've known Larry since he was elementary school kid. So
Larry, my crab brother, he still get me in trouble.
So
to this day.
So that's why I say I want to hear this because anyway. All right, Mr. Hare, let me hear you first, man. What was your reason for wanting to do Phi Beta Sigma?
So great question. As Mr. Millage said, you know, it was when you get into HBCUs, you go out there, you hang out, you have your friends, your crew, and everybody's hanging out. You start to kind of find out, like, you know, what fits you. A lot of times, it just depends on the campus, right? Because you'll be on certain campuses, and you know, everybody's frat ain't the shit on certain campuses. So it just kind of depends on where you at. I think for me, it was more or less like I was always very much a leader, but also very much individualized. Like whatever I join, that's not going to define me. All due respect to Mr. Jafar, but you know, my great great uncle was actually one of the founders of Omega Psi Phi, but that lineage didn't necessarily get passed down all the way through. And so I was actually my first name is Everett. I was named after Ernest Everett Just. Grew up with, you know, his picture and stuff, you know, at my grandparents' house and stuff like that or whatever. Being here, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, but my family worked for the airlines. They got restationed out here in Houston, and so with Mr. Larry over there, Houston and Texas was very much a Kappa type of environment at the time frame. And so, it was cool or whatever. And I got a lot of, again, I got love for everybody. But to me, it was more or less like, I'm going to make sure that whatever I do decide to join is very much going to be something that I can present a lot to and identify with. And again, it's never disrespectful to anybody else. But for me, being a Sigma across the Dillard University in New Orleans, Louisiana, I had the opportunity to grow with 6 other line brothers and do something special. It was the largest line New Orleans had ever seen in roughly since the early 90s. It was just, we were different, and it was the same crew. The people we hung out with, they were from their respective places where Sigmas were big. And for me, it was also like, I just bring that different element to it. And so for a time frame, it was kind of like Juvenile said, we took over for the 99 2000 in New Orleans, and that was what happened.
All right. Right. Let me get to because I know she's on her way to an audition, so we can try to get her in as much as we possibly can, and that she can hear us. Kiara, what was your reasoning for wanting to do Tau Beta Sigma?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. So my reasoning for wanting to do Tau Beta Sigma, band has been a part of my life pretty much for as long as I can remember. My dad, he played trumpet at Shaw, and just growing up, it was always, I was always in a band setting, and I personally wanted to give back to the program that kept me stable for a lot of times in my life. I experienced a lot of different things as far as, family members passing and different friends getting in and out of trouble, that I wanted to be a part of an organization that gave back to the band program that kept me in the best positive environment that I could possibly find myself in. And with being at Norfolk State and seeing how Epsilon Sigma was caring for the Spartan Legion, it kind of amped up everything that I wanted to do. I love serving the band. I love being in this type of environment, and I couldn't have asked for a better organization to join.
Word, that was so well written. That was so nice. Hey, all right, cool. All right, here we go. I gotta hear this one. Here we go. I'm gonna sit back for this one. I ain't gonna tell you the story of why I want to hear this one, but Larry, what was the reason into which why? Yeah, whatever.
All right. So if y'all haven't noticed, me and Julian, we know each other really, really well. That's my big brother, because my big brother was his little brother, and his big brother was my brother's little brother, and it's just a whole family tree of things. So if y'all don't know, my brother is an alpha, and he pledged at Prairie View. However, what Julian or my brother or nobody would really say is, when we were in high school and we, called ourselves, well, we didn't call ourselves, we pledged this high school fraternity. We walked around with canes.
Oh, here we go.
We had bow ties. We shimmied. And the chapter was even named the Pretty Boy Chapter. So
what was the organization pattern after, though?
Oh, what was the organization pattern? It was founded by an alpha, and everybody was an alpha. So now, let me get to the rest of the story now. Hello. So this chapter was modeled after Kappa's. This chapter. So when I got to college, it was an underlying deal that I was, gonna follow my brother's footsteps. I am my brother's keeper, and vice versa. So it was kind of like, people would be like, what you want to do, what you gonna do? And so I looked at all organizations. I looked at every single fraternity when I got to Prairie View. And what was crazy about the time that me and Quan attended Prairie View is that every chapter was like lit. Every chapter had just crossed lines. Like every chapter, the alphas had just had like a crazy big line. The Omegas had like a crazy big line with like 16
14.
dudes, and they were running rugged around the campus. The Sigmas, you know, they were winning step show left and right, and just everybody was just real. Nah, Sigmas was going, don't do it.
No,
I pay homage.
Keep going.
Kawhi, we got that on lock. Don't do that.
Yeah. All these organizations was just cool in their own retrospect. So me looking at the Kappas, it was like, man, I really like this chapter. I like what this chapter represents. And I remember one of the first things one of them, you know, kind of said to me was like, hey, you can be whatever you want to be. If you want to be a pretty boy, you can be that. If you want to be a noob, you can be that. If you want to be a Kappa, you can be that. But we all around are animals. And, you know, animal is everything. It's the whole jungle. So it was like, you can be whatever you want to be. And that for me kind of set the precedent of like, oh, I don't have to fit into a mantra. I don't have to, you know, go out here and always act crazy like, you know, some fraternities do. I don't have to go out here and always wear a suit like I'm a businessman. Because some days I'm not a businessman. Some days I want to be, you know, a butthole. And, you know, just retrospect. So it was like, all right, I'm going to pledge this chapter of this fraternity because I love Prairie View. I'm always going to go to Prairie View. I'm always going to be about Prairie View. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to roll with this chapter. And why Julian is saying that is because my brother he wasn't with it at all. But a lot of people don't know this. I actually told him that I was going to pledge Kappa a real long time ago. And he was like, listen, man, I can't steer you in the right direction all the time. But just, if you're going to do that, you better pledge KK Psi. And that was the deal that we had, that if I couldn't pledge one without the other. And I respected it enough to do it just like that. So, yeah.
It's okay. My mama, AKA. It's okay. You know, sometimes you just don't want that.
Yeah, no.
That's right, Portia.
But I pledge KK Psi for you, Julian. Anybody who I pledge KK Psi for all y'all. Tim, you, Deontay, everybody.
Listen, at least you got one right.
Oh, golly. Killer.
Everything ain't for everybody, Julian.
Hey, listen.
You gotta choose your own path, man.
We laid the path for him. He was on the silver platter. He's ready to go.
I'll tell you how it feels. I know exactly how Julian and now my brother feels because I have a little cousin, and you know, from damn near birth, that's been my road dog, right hand man. You know, set him up to win in all facets of life. He ends up going to Prairie View, set it out for him, had it just laid out for him, and he ended up pledging Sigma. So I know exactly how it feels. It's like, what? Come on.
That was his path to take.
It was
Carson, you're not supposed to be in here trying to make peace. You're supposed to be going in here going, no.
No, because my, you know, if I have a daughter, she can come home and tell me she want to be anything but one org. But I'm not gonna say that on here. But she can be anything but that one.
My son coming here talking about he want to be anything but alpha. He getting out.
Hey, me and Larry.
It was wait. I called Deontay when I was online because I needed some money, and Julian, you call him and ask him what his response was.
But all jokes aside, though, me and Larry, it was me, Larry, and another crab brother. We was like, we gonna do this together. That's why I was mad. I was like, we ain't gonna do it. And then I seen them cross. I was like, I guess, Larry. Matter of fact, both of them end up crossing Kappa.
Yeah.
When all of us, I'm the only one that decided to keep doing it.
Yeah. I was like, man, you know how it goes. Your brother is that, so you think you want to be that, and you really don't want to be that. And it's like, man, I can't do it, bro. I ain't gonna be able to fake it like that.
It's a whole lot of people walking around here with letters that they never really wanted because they did it for somebody else. So I would rather somebody take a path that suits them. Because one of my mama licenses, her daughter went AKA because I'm mama AKA, and then she didn't really want to be that, but her mama made her. And if you go to her house, it's a closet with all her stuff in it. You wouldn't know it unless you knew her before now.
At least she ain't denounced.
That's a whole nother conversation. I don't want to talk about that. That pisses me off. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about.
I was thinking about putting that in some of the conversation. So if we roll back round, we gonna probably.
Hey, let me say this. I'm gonna leave it like this. At Prairie View, and when we was there, me and Larry was there. That was a big thing, bro. I'm talking about. We had meeting functions that was shut down by the fire department. That's how bad they were. So that's a big one right there.
Yeah.
All right, man. So let's get to the real meat of this, man. Let's ask the first question. So before we do that, I gotta get this question out. What years did you all come through? And I'll go with everybody. So starting with Quan.
You know how it be at PV. You start one year, but you don't finish there. And
yeah,
I
get it.
I get it. But anyway, I end up crossing 12, 13, 14 at Xi Kappa Lambda, Missouri City. Xi Kappa Lambda, chapter 12, 13, 14.
All right, Portia.
I became a Zeta in spring of 2010. I became TBS in 2021. All
right, Maya.
Spring 15.
Jafar.
Fall 2000, 3:41 p.m., December 9th.
Okay. Larry.
I pledged KK side in the spring of 2009, and I pledged Kappa in the spring of 2015.
All right. And Brother Hare.
Follow to November 12th, 9:14 p.m.
All right. So one of the things is that we have some early 2000s and we got some mid 2000s. So what makes your era better than the other era? What makes your era when you came through better than the other eras? So I know everybody like, hey, I told you some of these questions here. I'm just saying. All right, go ahead, Portia.
We ain't have social media.
Yeah.
You had to physically go and meet people. I mean, Facebook was around in its little early stages. I think I had Instagram by the time I graduated, but they weren't like they are now. Like we road tripped. You had to physically go look people in the face, introduce yourself, share your information, get quizzed up. All of that took place. So we knew how to communicate. I still have relationships with those people that I met. I still am able to, if I go to their city, link up with them. I just think that physical presence, that learning different things from different chapters, getting to know people, being able to physically show up on somebody's yard, introduce yourself, have a conversation with them, everybody figure out everybody good. And then we have a great time. Now, I don't get it. And, it's not their fault, but I think that's an element that personal interaction is missing for me. And that's why I feel like, and it's not their fault, but I feel like it was better for us. Those connections, that process of, I think being in that hot seat when you first crossed, it helped me. I can speak in public now. I don't panic in those kind of situations. It added some things to the experience, and I just don't know if they get that now. I mean, to me, that would be the biggest difference, is that people don't go nowhere no more. They connect on social media, and yeah.
I mean, they post their informational flyers on social media. They post their interest meetings on social medias. Shit, at one point they had a Zoom, Zoom interest meetings, Zoom informationals.
Yeah, I had to walk past a billboard, that had all of them was posted in one spot. And you had to go see by the union and all these different, places to see when stuff was gonna happen. They told us, but I'm sneaking in Brown Hall. They had posted out probate flyer. I wasn't out yet, and I snatched one off the wall in the cut because it was a billboard back there. That kind of stuff. They don't have to do that anymore. That's my perspective.
And Sarah's right. I think the mantra of like really you had to be there is very different when you experience those types of moments, right? Because nowadays, it gets out on social media and whatnot, but back then, people had to actually read the flyers and be like, okay, that's what's popping, on that particular date. Just like I had some homeboys I grew up with, they crossed over at Prairie View. And so we have big probate shows where it's like nobody misses that day, right? Like there's nothing else going on that's important on that particular day, and so everybody comes out at the same time, and it's like it's a major show. It's like in New Orleans, it's small because the city is it's a great city, but it's very small. So it's like another one of the things where it's like the city shuts down on that day because hey, this is what's popping, right? So I think that's very much different. It's not that okay, I can just watch it later on IG and see what happened. No, you had to be there for, like that night. Everybody that shows love is there. You're there and embrace those types of moments. You got the people that knew you was online, the people that didn't know you was online. It's the after part. Like it's just a major difference in terms of what used to be and what's now. It's also the step shows. I've had the privilege of stepping at Bayou Classic in New Orleans. Like just those things were so much different then, where it was like, nah, you had to be there to see it, as opposed to and we still embrace it. We still just celebrated 20 years this past November, and we were sitting there watching the probate tape on the on social media, but it's like, man, you remember such and such screaming your name or this and that. Like it was different.
That's true.
So what do y'all say? And I don't know what you all's interaction is with younger members, undergraduate members, so on and so forth. But what do you say to those undergraduate members when they say, man, y'all just don't understand, man. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all old. What is the response? What do you say to that?
I was once young and I did it all. And I promise you, I did it. I probably can say I did it better, but I won't dog you or down you. I need to uplift you. So,
Larry would say that.
I would.
Larry will say he did it better.
But when I tell them, I say, you know what? If I say it, you won't believe it. You'll just have to. I'll actually go around the younger brothers. I'll actually make it a point to always talk to them and talk to them around people who are, was there with me, because Quan is my crab brother and he's a band director. So not only is he always involved with band, he's always involved with Prairie View. So if I go to these young guys and I say, hey man, y'all need to do it like this. This is how we got things going. This is how things were able to get, situated, and it's how we were structured. They'll just, look at me like crazy. But if Quan says it, and Quan, is to them, he's an outsider. But if he says it, they, they'll look like, oh man, they call me Unc. Oh man, Uncle's telling the truth. Like Uncle's really, really about that. But they always test it just like kids. Your kids don't think that you was the man. Your kids don't think that you smart. They don't think that you, tough or fast or any of that stuff. You just gotta, keep on proving it to them.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Well, Jafar and then Portia.
So for me, when you talk about the eras, when I came into Omega, there was a shift in Omega in 2000. And so when I say what's different from when I came in to now, when I first came in is when a structured way of coming into the grad chapters was trying to be established. It took me, I tried 3 different times before I got into this great fraternity. So with my perseverance, once I got in, I saw it change right in front of my eyes. So back when I was coming in, the rules were different. The quote was different. The status quo was different. And now these young folks have all this paraphernalia on, wrong colors, wrong places. It's almost as if some of the traditions have changed. Like, for instance, there are a lot of brothers now who are wearing purple and gold with black on black jackets. If you had put on a black jacket back in the 90s, the early 90s, the beginning 2000s, you wouldn't have left with that jacket on your body, period. So, you know, times change, things change. I just feel like even though I came in a really transitional time, I appreciate those moments. I appreciate those old school bros looking at me and telling me, I don't even know if you're worthy. I really had to prove myself from the jump. Compared to now, as long as you bring that check or that money order, come on in, join us. I don't care for that part.
And I'm gonna follow up with Jafar.
I'll say
some of the rules,
some
of the rules are very different, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, you know, again, I'm not gonna go into everything, but you know, it was certain things that you just didn't do back then that now it's like that's acceptable, right? I went back for homecoming. It must have been 20, maybe 12, 13, something like that or whatever. We never really had IOTAs on campus, and it's not a shot to them. But when it eventually there was a line of IOTAs that came in, right, and they did the whole holding them up, you know, with 3 people, whatever. They brought a bottle of Ciroc out on the floor and poured it in somebody's mouth, and it was like, you can't be serious. Like that's not even like, you know, that's not even like attractive. That's not even like a sexy thing to do. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Right?
At the show?
At the show, right? And the president was there. And I was like, man, okay, I'm done with this. Like, you know, because you had different standards, right? You know,
you didn't drink it.
And I'm sure Jafar could tell you, like, literally, you know, we had to dress a certain way, right?
Yeah.
You can't walk on grass. You can't do these things. We couldn't talk to females, like, you know. So it was more or less like, it was just more or less you spend that time and you dedicate what you're doing to what you're getting ready to join, right? So you appreciate this shit later on. This and again, it's not a shot at whoever, you know. I'm sure new people got their new way of doing things, but it's just a whole lot different.
I done heard some stuff in my life, but that's a new one on me. Wow.
Larry, what were you going to say? I'm very interested to hear what you had to say, sir.
I was gonna go to Portia, but Larry, go ahead.
I was gonna piggyback. One thing about Prairie View is if you go to Prairie View, man, you learn a lot about every fraternity. And if you don't, you really don't have love for the fraternity aspect and the actual brotherhood and what all fraternities represent, especially, you know, historically Black fraternities. It was last year I met a gentleman, and he had, you know, I had some type of paraphernalia that he knew I was a cap, and he started kind of like talking noise to me. Man, I was like, hey, what fraternity you a part of? And he was like, no, I'm not a part of no fraternity, but I am going to be a part of. I was like, well, you know, what fraternity you going to be a part of? You know, let me hear this now. He was like, oh man, I tried to be an Omega at Prairie View. And I said, oh, okay. You know, you didn't make it. You didn't go through. He was like, no, they didn't pick me. And
then you need to be quiet.
Wait. But no, so at Prairie View, and I don't want to speak on anyone's chapter, you know, I have the utmost respect for everyone, but like having friends and really close friends at a time at Prairie View, like you just went, you know, and if you stayed long enough for, you know, Omega, you made it. I had never, this was the first time I had ever heard someone actually say I wasn't picked. Like the dudes that I went to school with, they were like, nah, we walked in the house and we never left. And
We survived.
until we had some letters to show for the
That's
work
right.
we put in. And so
Right.
just to hear that, I was like, dang, I think Omega is going through some changes. Like something different here. Like this brother said he wasn't picked. I was like, nah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if he was lying, but just to hear that, I was like, yeah.
I want to say something, but I do want Portia to go. What you was about to say, Portia?
Y'all are, again, I learned so much on this show that I'm just baffled by this alcohol and this somebody who not in saying something to me about an organization is weird. I don't even know how I would react to that. But what I was gonna say, as an undergraduate advisor, I have these conversations all the time, and they look at us like we have three heads. Like we don't know what we're talking about. And I'm gonna tell you honestly, what I found works best is to give them just enough rope to hang themselves. Some lessons are better learned through experience because we could talk till we blue in the face, but we give them just enough rope, not to violate any policies or procedures, but you want to do it your way, go ahead. And 9 times out of 10, they fail. And then they come back and say, well, how do we fix it? Or what were you trying to say? Because again, they do think, our way of doing things is foreign. What was is not the same. And our perspective is skewed. But 9 times out of 10, also, I can't speak to how any other organization runs. Zeta is very structured. They have rules and regulations for everything. So this isn't my rule. I could tell you the page, the column, and everything to go find it. Because if you don't want to operate, and they get mad because I'll be like, well, if you don't want to operate like a Zeta, you should have went and did something else. This existed before you. It existed before me, and it shall exist after us. God be willing. So what I'm saying is, we have gotten to the point. I just want to say again, this is my last semester doing this. Yes, we're exiting stage left because it is too different for me. But I found that it works best if they find these things out for themselves, in my experience.
So for me, it's a few things. Number one, not down talking anybody that is the younger generation or newer era, but I do think they have a lack of reverence for the organization and the people that upheld it prior to them being either initiated or either being interested, like Larry said. Like one thing that I was taught, I pledged Phi Alpha Spring 08, and Chris Mitchell is a brother that plays by himself, great saxophone player. He always told me, you always want to leave the chapter better than what you found it. And some people had to go through some things to ensure that the chapter survived. And so one thing that I see is sometimes you have to pay homage and respect of the people whose name you called to cross. And so when you have those opportunities at homecoming, at different events and whatnot, it's out of respect to be like, hey, brother, I see you with that shirt on. Hey, like, who are you? When did you come? Or I came in, spring, blah. Hey, man, hey, brothers, this is brother such and such from, such and such year. I've been at probates and I've seen chapter brothers like walk past brothers and like not even acknowledge them, and them boys feel like, hey, like I'm in this thing, like who are you? So what you crossed in 99? Like it don't matter, it was different in 99. It's like even like honestly, if you look just in the free world, sometimes you may see another brother with a shirt on and he see you nod your head. Nah, you supposed to walk up and talk to each other, and because you went through and should have experienced the same thing. I see a bigger disconnect with more Greek life as time progressed. But as for me, as being an alpha or even being a symphonian, bro, it's like you owe it to speak to those people and acknowledge those people that came in before you, just like the Marching Storm. I'm pretty sure it's like that with the Legion and y'all other organization. When you see somebody that came in before, you held it down till I got to it. And then, God be willing that it will be continued passed on. But I see a lot of disrespect from the newer generation. Also, lack of discretion.
Yes.
Like a lack of discretion. It's like, it was to a point where people shouldn't even know what you wanted to pledge unless you really knew that they wanted to pledge.
So
And
hold on, I don't want to stop you, but you always do this, Quan. You do
He's
this.
going to the next
Spirit.
topic.
It's the
That was
Holy
already
Spirit.
a topic, man.
It's the Holy Spirit. That's
That
what
was
it
already a topic.
Come on, God.
So
Right.
So look, let me just because I want you to finish. I want you to finish your thought, but since that was already a topic, then let's just go into the next topic. So let me do my whole thing, and then we'll
Hold
go.
on. Can I say one thing first?
Yeah.
And this might be controversial, but Quan, I can't speak for nobody else, but part of that is their fault, but part of it is not. Somewhere that was passed down to us to have that reverence, to appreciate people who kept the chapter going in order for it to be here, for you to have an opportunity to participate in it. Somewhere along the way, I can only speak for my chapter, that was lost. And there became this mentality of, we here now, what we say goes, don't nobody else matter. And I can't speak for anywhere else, but that happened here. And so trying to address that now is an uphill battle. But part of it is their fault because they don't want to embrace it. But if that had been continued to be passed down, we might not even be here.
Yeah, I agree. I could say with the band fraternity with Kappa Kappa Psi, our biggest thing when being initiated is learning the lineage. We spend a lot of time learning the lineage of the chapter, meaning you learn the line name and you learn the names on the line, and you have to memorize them. So you may not never meet some of those guys, but a lot of them you will meet, and they'll say their name, and you'll be amazed how much it lights a brother up when they say who they are and you tell them the year and they number that they crossed. That's a brotherhood, and he'll bond with you forever, but he also know that you were quote unquote made right, and y'all can continue to build from that. Now you go on the college campus, and I could be wearing a frat shirt and say, hey, I'm such and such, and they won't even know who I am. Or I mess with my brother a lot. I mess with Deontay a whole lot, but I'll ask a alpha, hey, this guy, he's this year. They were like, nah, I don't know. And I just call him on the phone like, man, hey, these guys, they don't know you, man. You must not have done something right. But, same goes with the fraternity I'm in as well.
but CB, a lot of that goes to the time frame of pledging too. Like we know back in the day, like we could kind of get away with certain things. Like when I pledged Fire Me Alpha, bro, I was online because I was a TikTok. We was online 8 weeks, 7 days, and if I had my watch 9, 10, we can keep going. But like we was when they was like, hey, approve, hey, probate, you was on that time frame. And I don't know how it is at other campuses, if they have a set time or if it's when the organization says you can cross.
Well, that's also what your neophyte year is for. You really have to embrace what a neo is, and your chapter and the fraternities need to embrace what a neo actually means. You don't stop ever pledging. I mean, technically, I'm still pledging my fraternity. I pledge with financially, and I give them money every year. And when they need my time and services, I provide that to them. So the pledging process doesn't necessarily stop. It's another process. The initiation process is time, but the pledging process never stops. And that's what probably needs to become the mantra and mindset again.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let me get into this. Let's move on to the next topic, so that we can, because I want Quan to finish getting his thoughts out because he was heading somewhere, and I really want to get into that. So, welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like, daddy. Let's get these likes up. Let's help this YouTube algorithm. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passioneers Network and turn on notifications. Dang, it didn't come up. There we go. This episode will be up on all your podcast networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. Here we go. Here's a question. Why Why do we require aspirants to keep quiet about their future choices? There we go. Quan, go.
I mean, you should keep quiet because you don't know what's gonna happen. Like at the end of the day, people feel like, yeah, I'm supposed to be in this organization. The truth is, maybe that organization don't want you. That's number one. And or let me say this: that particular chapter may not want you at that particular time. And let's be honest. Many people be talking and they really don't know what that organization really is or stands for. As a freshman, man, you don't know. You really don't know that organization until you really see that organization and what it does on that particular campus. Because your point of view of Alpha on Prairie View campus or Alpha or Kappa Psi on Prairie View campus may be completely different on Jackson State. But the question is, are you trying to be a member of Kappa Alpha Psi or Alpha Phi Alpha? Or are you trying to be that chapter? And I think that's one aspect of it. Number two, people talk too much and people don't want to go to jail or get in a bind because your quote unquote friends say they was going to get you down online, but your GPA is 2.1 and now you didn't probate. Like all of that should be kept quiet. And my thing is this: if you already talking quote unquote fraternity business, how you gonna keep the secrets? Ain't that in your obligation too?
Yeah, that part.
So I know you're gonna put. So if you a dude and you already running your mouth, I know you're gonna talk to your girl when you pledging. Babe, rub my butt. Come on. And now your girl mad at you.
Pause.
Yeah, pause.
Listen,
glazing.
Exactly. It's practice. Be quiet.
You know what I'm saying?
We need to know that you can keep your mouth closed when it's necessary. And like to Juan's point, even about the secrets, like you talking too much in advance.
So
then I don't mean no harm. I know people that ran their mouth and said they wanted to do stuff real loud, real boisterous, telling everybody, and now they got letters somewhere else. So now we clown you every time we see you. Okay.
But see, I was gonna say something about that. There are people who didn't say anything, and then they still went and pledged other things that only like maybe their best friend knew.
But
what's the difference?
There's a big difference. I'm gonna tell you why. Watch this. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you why. When we was on the yard, they had a young lady that went to every single Delta Sigma Theta informational. Sorry, Portia, she ended up pledging Zeta. Her line name was Blue Elephant. So people knew. People knew. I'm just saying, bro. You can't be in them lines and people see you, and then you backdoor and cross something else, and you think, oh, I've been wanting to be this my whole life. You lie, yeah. You lie. Stop your lie.
She wouldn't have been Zeta Gamma, but shout out to them for the line name. Okay. We're gonna take your money and we're gonna bring you over here. I don't agree with it, but baby, that's the shadiest line name I've ever heard in my entire life.
Listen, on me and Portia's campus, there's one organization that gets a lot of people that wanted to be in a whole nother organization. And those people don't be going out talking a lot. They be quiet about theirs. But people best friends be knowing. And we be looking at them like, oh, really? Weren't you? Okay. All right. So my point is, yeah, I get it. But one person came to me one time and asked me this question. They asked, wouldn't that be a form of flattery if you know that somebody is really trying to be a part of your organization? Now, regardless of what happens to them in the future, right? They have expressed interest in something that you find pride in. So why is that a negative thing?
I'm sorry, no disrespect. I want to ask this because I think we are going about this kind of differently than what the actual question states. So from my understanding, they say, why do we require aspirants to keep quiet about future choices? Is I don't believe that we, like in my fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi, you will never make it if you keep quiet. You will never get picked. We need to know you and vet you out. So you have to actually come up to us and tell us that you are interested in fraternity, and then after that, you have to make yourself known. I've seen plenty of times after times after times after times, guys walk in there, and the first question is, who knows you and who do you know? And if you cannot answer that, then guess what? You know where that interview is going. We don't care who you are. We don't care what you bring. We don't care what you possess. It's certain guidelines we gotta set. And one of those is you have to get to know the people inside of the chapter and fraternity that you're gonna be joining. So are we asking, do we keep quiet to the masses?
Yeah.
Or do we keep quiet to the actually.
You took the words out of my mouth. What I was gonna say is, because he said telling you expressing interest to the chapter and to the people in the chapter and people in the organization is different from you confessing to your entire section of the band that, girl, next semester I'm going online for such and such, or I'm gonna be such and such.
It was like the girl.
Those are two different things. Because Zeta Gamma is the same way. If we don't know you, if you haven't been coming to stuff, if we haven't had a chance to interact with you, you're not getting in our chapter.
But like the girl that was in high school that said she was gonna be a K at PV.
No, she did a whole photo shoot. It's too much. Sit down.
But my thing is this, right? Like, I think my thing is, it's one thing to say I'm gonna be on next year. It's another thing to say I'm going to be one.
Yeah,
I think those are two totally different things, right? Like anybody who knew me, I mean, we ain't gonna talk about Larry anymore, but anybody who knew me knew I was gonna be an alpha. That was it. That was the writing on the wall. It was gonna happen. It didn't matter where I went. It didn't matter who I was around. It was gonna happen. And I know that we had the episode when Rick was on here and he was talking about they thought I was going to be a Kappa, and Larry's absolutely right. I came from an organization where we had Canes and we was pretty boys. That was not going to change my outlook of being an alpha, unlike Larry. He was phony. But my point is, everybody knew when I walked in the door, that's what I wanted to be. When I talked to the people in my section, they knew I was going to be alpha. It was tight. When they asked, when it was time to come to do the e-board and everybody thought I was going to be chapter president, I said, no, I'm going to respectfully decline because my goal is to be on for the next semester. Now, I didn't get on, but that's a whole completely different story. But everybody knew. And I guess I'm different in the fact that my pillow talking, baby, come rub my booty. Now, mind you, back then I wasn't with one specific person, so I ain't asked nobody to rub my booty back then. But if I was with my wife, right, pause. But if I was with my wife back then, my now wife now, because I met her after I pledged, but if I was with her, I'd be like, hey, babe, come rub this booty out. I mean, that's just, but I'm not going to be going her, pause, but I'm not going to be going telling her a bunch of secrets either. That's just not,
that's a secret.
That's not everybody. So for people like me, I always sit back and like I said, I've had people ask me this question too. I've always sat back and been like, what's the problem with letting people know, or what was wrong with me telling people like I'm gonna be an alpha one day? Now, some people may feel like that's not that bad, but there are many people who find it to be wrong.
If you went to
can I jump in?
You wanted to be what? Because we were initiate. I don't like to put none of that stuff out there, but we were
glaze, bro. Say glaze.
Glaze.
But yeah, and it was a name for it. It was an actual name for
it. Right.
So
I think you have to also understand the history of things. And again, Jafar, I'm not picking on you, but back in the day, like, so before things were so like this is a bad thing, or even the hazing things of it.
Yeah.
Back in the day when you joined the Crescents, the Scrolls, the all the different lamps, all of those different things at that particular moment before you became a member of the organization, it was very present, right? So you'd be out on the yard and they knew you were online because that was just what it was, right? And a lot of times through the 90s, it was a moment of time where how do you preserve this still respect the integrity of the process without it being extremely abusive.
Yeah.
if that's kind of the way of how things work. So it was also a matter of like, hey, at that moment, yes, okay, you did it. People knew you was online. Like it just what it was, right? But by the same token, in today's society, because there's so much criticism that happens regardless of what you do, right? It's not even just a fraternity thing, it's just in life, right? You decide, oh, I want to leave this job and go do something else. Everybody got something to say about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so in in just the context of joining an organization, nowadays it's more or less like, yeah, we do, be like, hey, yes, if I don't know you and say none of this and whatever, like this is a real random person that just showed up to an informational. Hey, like, sir, you didn't follow what you were supposed to do with the instructions. But by the same token, you don't. You also want to make sure there's an establishment of the humility of joining my organization, right? So, from a stance of understanding, like, if you going out here and you telling people, hey, I'm just about to be this person, I'm about to do this, I'm about to be out here doing this, like I'm already kind of questioning, like, what is your motive in terms of joining the organization?
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you're not here for the right reasons, for what we believe in, what we literally are all about, and you have this thing of you just want to wear the letters, you think these colors are cool, you think strolling at the parties is great, you think getting these women is what it is, like those are the wrong reasons. And if that's what you're in it for, like that's a whole reason why I definitely am not about to. I'm not even about to touch you and be even a part of whatever you think is about to occur.
Well, I agree with what everyone has said, but from my point of view, I do appreciate those people who let me know directly that they would like to be a part of my organization. But we're a friendship fraternity, so if I don't know you, as my Mr. friend Mr. Larry said, real talk, I wouldn't vouch for you if I didn't know you for at least a year, maybe two.
Yeah.
I won't do it just because. You might change your mind. You might see something else. I'll still be your friend. I just know you won't be in my frat. But yeah, tell me about it. Don't run your mouth about it. You can tell me, and then your actions will speak for you. And if you stick around long enough and an opportunity presents itself, then yeah, I might put your name out there. But if not, good luck.
Just a quick story. But one of my high school friends, I mean, we went to high school and college together. So we went to, Willow Ridge, then we went to Prairie View together all 8 years. Last year, I got a call because I was at work. I wasn't able to make my my chapter's interest meeting. But I got a call. Just, hey, this guy, his name is such and such. He says he knows you and he went to school with you. Yeah, heck yeah, I know him. That's my dog. That's my road dog. Hey, he's at this meeting right now interviewing. Did he tell you? No. What is your vote?
No.
My vote is no.
No.
That's it. And hung up the phone. And an hour later, I got that call. And the first thing him was like, hey, I didn't know it was like that, man. I'm too late. And I was like, all right, I promise I'll see you next year if you still aspire to be, but nah.
Yeah.
And I also will go on the record by saying I'm just different and all that, right? Because I'll always tell the story of when I not decided, but when I moved from Virginia, when I got to where I was in U.S. Virgin Islands, because I was new there, I didn't know anybody, and at the time I was like, well, I guess my thought process of being alpha is going to be on hold. And as I went to the music store to pick up some instruments and stuff for my kids and all that kind of stuff, I see a dude standing in the doorway, and he got an Omega shirt on. And I'm like, oh, really? So I walked up to him and I said, hey, where the alphas at? And that was it. Like I've just always been that person. That's just who I am. Like I said, that's gonna be me forever. Now, based on everything that you guys have said, everything that you all said has much merit. So I'm not taking anything away from what y'all said. But like for me, that's just who I am, and I will not change, that part of me. Like I said, I've never had a problem with telling anybody because I knew it was going to happen one way or another. That's just, but that was the determination in me, but with that being said, though,
But Luke, I think you bring up.
Go ahead.
I think you bring up a good point. There are some people that, they're brought up through. I hate the term legacy, but it's just, that's their lineage of whatever it is, or I mean, they've been groomed, or even they just knew a little bit earlier. I think there's still a respect factor there if I know that's where you're at, because, from a stance now, one of the things that plagues a lot of our fraternities on campuses, and I think Prairie View is one of those places where it's a little more privileged because it's a larger HBCU and there's a large quantity of Black men, Black beautiful women, and you have it's a selection type piece of it. There's a lot of HBCUs and even non-HBCUs where it's a smaller quantity of people that are showing up from African American race, and you do have to be a little bit more of the recruitment process. You have to be a little bit more of the exclusiveness in terms of that particular element, just from what's occurring there. So I can appreciate what you're saying. Like, I definitely can, and I think there's a place where that definitely has its own position. And so from just answering the question, it really has a dependency on what the climate of that particular college campus is at that particular moment.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I mean, I don't know. I my personal opinion is if I wouldn't have went to PV, I still would have been the same way. But I think that's also because and Larry will tell you that's just kind of how I am. That's just kind of how we were as young people. So but I don't disagree with what you're saying. Yes, the climate of the campus can definitely be able to determine how those people actually move and act. But I do have this question that's along the lines of this. How do you all feel about those people that wanted to be in one organization and then they ended up probating for something else and tried 2, 3, 4, 5 times?
I ain't got no love for you. Bottom line.
I just don't have no respect for you, especially when you at the same interest meeting that I was at. We were studying together. You went through something that made you a little uncomfortable and you didn't feel good about it, and you didn't care or think to talk to me or talk to someone else about it. And then next thing I know, you are busting out with these other colors and I don't even know who you are. Mm-hmm. So that's how I feel about it.
A lot of times it's also the situation of like, you thought this shit was going to be easy and it's not. And then you figure out that shit. Nah, man. Again,
I think my biggest problem is if you've decided to, interest meetings are interest meetings. I think sometimes we take for granted that people are exposed to Greekdom. Interest meeting to me, I don't even think they should be called that. I think they should be called informationals, because everybody's not exposed to Greek. They don't know anything about these organizations. Yes, you have the internet now, but maybe I want to see how y'all handle business. But I think my problem is not the people who've expressed interest per se. My problem is if you signed paperwork, like you really was about to turn in your money and do this if they accepted you. And then when they didn't, you went and did something else. You getting information about them, about who they are, how they operate, how they run this interest meeting, how they, all of those things. But to me, the paperwork, once you sign paperwork, it's an issue for me, because to me, that means if they had accepted you, you were going to do that. And then because they didn't, then you went and chose something else. That's a problem for me. And then my thing is that if I wanted to be a Zeta my whole life. My mama, whole AK, it didn't matter. I didn't want to be that. I wanted to. So if Zeta Gamma had not taken me, I would have still been a Zeta today. Like, you don't, to me, something you really, really want, you don't give up on. To me, undergrads are not the end all be all. There are graduate chapters everywhere for every organization. If you really want to do something, the buck does not stop with an undergraduate chapter. So for you to jump ship, you have, I mean, having paperwork in more than one place is an issue for me.
I think I'm kind of like Julian. Well, I don't know how Julian is, but I think the biggest thing with me, I mean, if you're a stranger, I don't care. But if you are a friend or somebody I consider to be a friend or somebody I talk to or, you know, have some type of relationship and communication with, yeah, if you do that, I will have a problem if, you know, it's not talked about. But if, you know, I don't know you from Adam, and then, because that happens every year, like, especially on the sorority side, you know, no offense, but it happens every year, man.
I don't know where the sororities at that you part of, that you see.
I went to Prairie View, a predominantly black college, and when those AKA lines of 50 come out, all of them just be like, "Oh, she was at the entrance, she did and vice versa."
It'd be a whole lot of elephants.
Yeah, when them Zetas come out, the AKAs, they be having, you know, posting. Oh, look at this girl. She came to the AKA meeting, and that's just.
Well, you know, one thing that's different about PV is like PV cap lines.
Yeah,
like, that's another thing. Like,
you don't go no further than.
Yeah, I mean, once you hit 50, that's it. You know, it's not gonna be like Howard and you have 190, 80. See, you're not gonna have 200 lines like that.
Quan he didn't explain what he was talking about earlier when he said that the fire marshal shut something down. He shut it down because it was too many women at the interest meeting, and they had too many bodies in that building. It was almost 600 girls there, and they were only if only picking 50. That's the cap. They can't pick no more than that. So imagine 550 girls getting some no's and them 50 getting yeses. It's crazy. So they gonna go to SG, Rho, Zeta, Delta. I mean, they'll go to a non-Greek organization, which it happens. I mean, it does happen. So for me,
but also, man. But I mean, but the truth
that's
is
not that prevalent up here.
My thing
it's not. It's a Southern end. Portia, they had 263 on one grad chapter line. They crossed 1,000 AKs in spring of 2022.
Yeah,
but I understand.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them just didn't make it. They just didn't make it for undergrad. So the graduate lines, you know, it happens.
It's a true statement.
We don't have that problem, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, he's telling the truth.
So no, Larry, I definitely agree with you. I think for me, it stings more when it's somebody I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I know that you have tried, if I know that you've actually been on.
Oh yeah.
And then I feel some type of way. I don't know. In my spirit, it just don't feel right. You know, my wife still gets a little rattled with me because, you know, we got some close friends that kind of did some of them things. Man. I tell her all the time, I still ain't talked to them yet. It's difficult.
It's a couple of people from the Legion. Every time I see them, go hard or go home, I be like, ooh, child. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why we probably talking about the same couple people. So
should have went home.
I'll say this. In the spring, and I don't tell this story. This is me and my brother, like, cool stories I can tell now. Actually the summer of 2007, I'm riding home from Prairie. My brother had to come pick me up. And as we're riding home, I had not expressed to my brother that, hey, I want to be a Kappa. I'm not really trying to go the other way. And so he's riding the car. He said, hey, man, I wouldn't normally do this, but I'm gonna tell you, my line brother is gonna be the dean for the guys this year. And he called me, he asked me, and I'm telling you right now, if you go, you know, you're gonna be on, you're gonna get picked. And I didn't say nothing to him. I was just like, okay, you know, I didn't say nothing. So sure enough, the summer goes around this fall, and he calls me. He's like, hey, it's happening right now. You gotta go here. I'm like, I'm not going. I'm not going. And you're like, what are you scared? Like, what's going on? He's got like, nah, I don't want to do it. I don't want to be that. And that conversation was a hard one to have, but it was necessary. And I think
That's cap. That's cap. That's cap. That's cap. That's cap.
that was funny. That's a good one. That's a good one, Julian. But yeah, had I not had
I'm
the
mess with this guy forever, man. But
oh,
that's
man.
I can do that.
Imagine had I popped out with a cane and a shimmy in it. I ain't tell that man. See,
oh yeah, he would have been. So let me make sure I clarify. So if y'all don't know, his brother is Deontay, the counselor.
Mm-hmm.
That's who his brother is.
Yeah.
So just to put some context to this now. So yeah, he would have been. I don't know. Y'all would have went to the grass that day, probably.
Yeah, definitely. Not no probably.
I'm gonna be real.
Happen.
But yeah, man, I just think, I don't know. I think that if you're gonna start something, you know, and if you keep telling, if especially if you didn't started something, if you didn't, like Portia said, and put the paperwork in, or you didn't been on, look, finish what you start. That's how I am. That's how I always been. If you start it, finish it. And this is not specifically about our Greek life, but this is about my high school life. I did it twice. A lot of people don't know. I did it twice. In high school, I pledged twice. I ain't gonna tell that whole story, but I did, because my thing is, if I start something, I'm gonna finish it. I'm not gonna start this process and go through it, and then all of a sudden I'm just done with it because I'm upset or I'm frustrated about whatever happened. You know, I'm gonna finish it, and that's my thing. You know, that just shows the determination within yourself. So that's just where my brain is. All right. Any final thoughts on this topic before we move on?
No.
Okay. All right, man. Let's move it on. Welcome to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU, band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like that right now. Don't even wait for it. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passionates Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcasts and networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. All right. This one might be a little controversial if we need to blurb out a couple of words and stuff like that. But you know, I always believe in being honest and being real and being open. So let's have this conversation. Pledging, was it worth it?
Did you say pledging? Was it worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd do it again. The only thing I would do different is there's probably 2 different times I would have said no, and out of those 2 times I would have fought. Other than that, yeah, I'd do it again. Sure would. I wouldn't change anything about it at all.
Love that answer.
It's gangster.
Right?
It's gangster.
I can't even argue with it. Hey, all right, you got it. All right, pledging, was it worth it? Quan.
All right, so the reason why Jafar laughing, because Jafar is was my worshipful master of my life.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
That's why he
I remember you from.
That's why he doing some different laughing. You dig? Now I'll tell you this, for those that don't know, you know, I don't be getting all of them titles and all, but I got all of them.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
I know all of them. And I'm somebody to know somebody when it gets to that. But I would never do that again. But my other stuff, but I think what people don't know is I did Phi Mu Alpha first, and then I became a Freemason. I'm not gonna lie, Freemason made me a man on so many different levels to where I do whatever I want to do, whatever I put my mind to, I can do. I just leave it at that. But is it pledging worth it? Yeah, it is. For the real connections and brotherhood, even from this show, like Julian, when I found out he was a bro alpha, we've been writing with each other ever since, even from IO, Texas. The connections that you meet, and what people fail to realize, one of my mentors was given the alpha handshake by Dr. Martin Luther King, and he's still active to this day. And he's been active uninterrupted for 54 years in Alpha Phi Alpha. So that's the people that brought me in. I was recommended and sponsored by 2 life members and 1 charter member. I tried to be an alpha 3 times.
There we go.
So yeah, I would definitely do it again. Phi Mu Alpha as well. So
Portia, pledging, was it worth it?
Yeah, but y'all talking about doing it again. My answer to that is no. Okay, let me explain something to y'all. No. What I do, and maybe this might be my 35-year-old body talking, but nah. Let me tell you something. Do it again? Absolutely not in this life. But was it worth it? Absolutely. Absolutely. But y'all on some different stuff talking about you'll do it again. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna hold you. No. And it might be because I'm old now. I don't know, but I'm telling you right now. Portia, come on one more time. You got it. Not. But it was worth every moment. I wouldn't want to have it any other way. I love this organization more and more each and every day. It was definitely the right fit for me, but y'all talking about doing it again. I'll do it again. Y'all some different kind of people than me.
All right.
Do I have to do it at this age though, Julian?
That make a difference.
That's real.
Well, first of all, I never even asked you to do it again. I never
at this age.
I never asked that question. I'm just saying.
Somebody got the bump for Quano. Somebody got the bump for Quano. I can get in it.
Hey, y'all can call it what you want. I'm still getting these letters, but if I had this 35, no sir, no sir.
I'll answer.
Go ahead, Larry.
Honestly, I truly believe every organization that I joined gave me something just intangible. And was it from pledging? Yes, but just the organization in itself. I would never say nothing is not worth it, but aspects of pledging is really outdated. Some aspects of pledging are really outdated. And the craziest thing about it is the more that it becomes outdated, the more that it's actually glorified. And I'm a victim of it. I am a person that glorifies every aspect of every process that I've been a part of, physical and mental. But again, I don't use any of the physical aspects of any of the process. Everything that I've taken from my process that I now go through life in is mental and educational, nothing physical. When times get hard, I go back to poems and quotes, from my process. I lean on brothers. So was it worth it? Of course. But I think that, we as men have to stop glorifying the aspects of the process that, we really don't even use anymore. It's like kids learning calculus in high school. None of us use that. So why is it still being taught? I think those same lessons need to go into the pleasure process.
All right. I think Jafar already said it. Maya, you awake? There you go. Maya.
Yes, I'm awake. Y'all, my teeth hurt so bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I cut you off.
No, I was going to say pledging. Was it worth it?
Oh, I mean, yes. So I'm definitely honored to be a part of my organization. So for me, things are just a tad bit different, right? So if I could pick the time in the circumstances in which provided the opportunity for me to be selected to be a part of TBS, that I would change that. So yes, it's absolutely worth it. But in the sense of, or the light in which it was provided, I would change that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it absolutely
I don't
makes
want
sense.
to. I don't want to cut you off.
But hold on right quick, Larry, because I
Go
think
ahead,
you're
go
about to say the thing that I'm about to say.
Then let me
So
see.
Maya, everybody doesn't know your specific situation.
Sure. So I was going to continue to get into that. Did you, Larry? Did you?
I wanted to tell you, as a brother of the Delta Psi chapter of Kappa Kappa Psi, who is a direct, sibling to the Epsilon Psi chapter of Kappa Kappa Psi. Your line, your specific line, we really, really applaud y'all and we appreciate y'all. And I hope that you don't think that because of the time that you came in, that don't change that. If I can tell you, don't change that. You came in at the perfect time. You guys made your mark. You resurrected something that a lot of people didn't think they were ever going to see again. Okay. So don't change that. Believe me, myself and Quan feel like that, or felt like that, with another organization that we were a part of in the band. And the older we got, the more we learned to embrace what we had to endure in that time. So I want to tell you that don't change that. Y'all did y'all thing. Y'all came at the perfect time, and y'all are engraved in that chapter's history for life. So
fair. And I 1000% appreciate you for saying that. And in no way do I want to kind of belittle or take away from the experience and the processes in and of itself. But I think speaking to the bigger picture of it is, going through or rechartering, what I'm saying, and going through those tribulations and those changes, coming off of the moratorium, number one. What I'm saying? Also going through the recharting in and of itself, and also changes or just things that were happening at home. Mm-hmm. All of those things considered, that it made for a very unique, situation for us. And so with that, there kind of sometimes there are things that, I wish were different. But again, like I said, I'd never want to take away from how unique and how, like I said, honored I am to be a part of my organization and being able to come through it at which time that I did.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, y'all changed the whole makeup of the sorority, and I don't know if you even know the kind of stipulations that used to go on, but like dancers were very, very strict on if they could actually join TBS at one point. So you look at it now.
Wasn't no if about it. for that to look market time, I'll say. But I feel you. I feel what you're saying.
Yeah.
I feel you.
All right. Brother here. Pleasure. Was it worth it?
But again, I have to agree with everyone that's kind of shared. You get something different from all the different aspects of pledging, depending on even your different organizations. I got something different from Sigma. I got something different from Masonry. I got something different from, just joining other organizations. And so it's definitely worth it from the stance of it's a growing and learning experience. I think one thing that sometimes is a little bit different is that time frame, and not all, but some of the experiences that happen now. Back then, you earned it. Like you went through some things that were a little different. You don't necessarily have that same experience nowadays. Mm-hmm. And again, I look at even just time frames. It's like, you look at social media and be like, oh yeah, this person crossed this particular time frame, and you do the math. It's like, man, that math not math at all. like for real. So, I mean, it's a little different. I also think the camaraderie and the bonding process was definitely something back then that you just definitely appreciate, right? You're going through hell, like you and your ass whoop, you're getting all those different things occur. Like you said, Mr. Luke, like, you're trying to, find somebody that's gonna rub on it. But it's like, but by the same token, man, I'm not giving up. I'm not you know what I'm saying? Like I'm finishing this because I started it. I'm definitely like all in. And you learn each other. I think, from a fraternity standpoint, and it's nothing to take away from sororities, but nowadays you have some particular lines where it's like it's so the numerical standpoint of people that's crossing. It's like you can't possibly know these people, right? And we were just a little different back then because you had to know everything about everybody. And to this day, any one of my line brothers, like if something occurs, I know who to call. I know what the allergies are. I know, just it's different. So yeah, I would not change nothing about the whole process.
I know what you're saying. My chapter, the biggest lines we've ever crossed is 12, and that's 3 times.
Yeah.
We don't do all that around here.
I agree with that.
So a couple of things. The first thing is I'm definitely on the side of Portia. I mean, the number of organizations that I have done, first of all, ain't no way I would do that again. There's no way.
You didn't have fun? You didn't have fun?
Hell no. No. I mean, now let me make sure I clarify. There were some moments with my LBs that I'll never forget.
That's right.
But going through the moments, oh hell no. No. But I cherish those moments. Don't get me wrong. I cherished every single moment.
Yep.
From the fights that you and your LBs would have, cussing each other out. One, your ace probably ain't doing something that he ain't supposed to do, or he getting on your nerves because aces is assholes. I mean, it's so many different things and so many different variables that you can't even really put it into words. But I ain't doing that again. And honestly, if I'm talking about now, it's tight. If I have to go back and think about me doing it at a younger age, I'm sorry, it's tight. Either way, it may be tight. You just give me the paper, I'm good. But ask you this question.
My brain don't even work the same no more. I'm telling y'all right now, remember something? Ha!
No.
I'm the one getting everybody in trouble.
Yeah, it's tight.
Now, my brain,
But let me ask this question. What about those situations where they say the process makes you better? But well, go ahead. Somebody's gonna say something, but go ahead.
Okay. So in I choose which fraternity I want to talk about. But in KK Psi, we actually pick the more quiet, the more subtle person to be the leaders on the line. We don't pick the more outspoken people or the people who are able to handle themselves accordingly. We pick the person online that will be online who's like, we never really heard this guy talk. Let's make him the line person, or let's make him the call dog. The person who they may feel was lazy or lackadaisical in the band. If he happens to make it online, we'll make that guy a line president. We'll give him all the work and make him, make the line come together, and it builds them. So I say in that aspect that
that's how you build the brother. You break them down, and then build them right back up to where they're confident and walk in and not really waver when they talk to you, and they don't put their head down. They start to put their heads up. You can tell the difference, when the brother is ready to come on in and be initiated in.
So
I'm gonna say,
oh well, go ahead,
Julian,
Portia.
you know the old me. Okay.
Yeah.
Zeta tamed me. As far as having respect for the older sorors and following, rules and stuff like that, I already had that because of the Legion. But that train to go attitude, what you say, I'm with it. My big sisters and my dean reeled that back. It's bigger than you. Mm-hmm. You're no longer Portia, Legion, Silkat. You are now Portia the Zeta. Everything you do is going to reflect on this organization. And Zeta is a business. What are you bringing to the business? And so I started to process. You can spaz out. You can fight. Mm-hmm. But what does that say about the organization that you joined? So it started me on a different path. I had to be a different person. I had to grow. And one of our principles is final womanhood. And so how she kind of put that to me was improving every day, constant improvement, constant growth. We saw something in you. And so now it's your job to prove us right. It is time to live up to your line name and to what we saw when we picked you. And so that helped me. That made me better. And I don't know that I would have figured this thing out as fast as I did if I didn't have those conversations, those expectations, those things instilled in me. And it started because I'm gonna tell you right now how I was. I got on that. We lined up and I started learning about them. Hey, it was some kindred spirits on that line. It was and they had to get to us and say, y'all got to reel it back. Y'all got to be different. Y'all have to live this principle of final womanhood. Would a final woman do that? So in many ways, it made me better. It did. Me and my line sisters, because it was a couple of us trained to go. We was with it.
So what about those members who lined up with you before you went through worse than what you went through, and you never see them again? They don't come to nothing. They don't do nothing. Barely paying dues, but they went through that same process. But
well, I'm gonna say this though: process don't make you active.
Yeah,
process that doesn't guarantee that. It's a whole lot of people that went hard in the paint as t-shirt wearers, and that's a whole nother conversation because they also the ones that always got something to say. And when they say that, I be like, when the last time you paid dues? Because Zeta ain't running off your love or that pledge process you went through in 1999. Now, I do hold people accountable. Oh, yeah. That doesn't guarantee that. Mm-hmm. It just means that you're willing to endure whatever that process was. But it's a whole lot of t-shirt wearers.
Yeah.
Going around still having the same mindset of whenever they crossed. But I can only speak for my organization. Zeta is a very different organization from when I came in. And so your processes of what we should and should not be doing, I ain't going down for something that don't pay my bills. Zeta is an expense. Not it ain't bringing me no money. So yeah, you do have those situations, but I mean, what can you do? I ain't pick them. I lined up with them, but I don't know.
So you opened up some worms here when you said that. I can remember back, I think it was my senior year in high school. Maybe I think it was my senior year in high school. We had this thing in the city back when gents was like super hot. I don't know what happened to it now. Good Lord. But we had this yearly meeting that we would do called the Gent Expo. And at the Gent Expo, we were at Booker T. Washington High School. We were inside the cafeteria. We were having our meetings, and all the brothers were around. And we had some guest speakers. Some of the guest speakers just happened to be members of Kappa Alpha Psi. And one of the things that they said was this. He said, we talk down to our shirt wearers, but we need your shirt wearers. And he said, "Oh well, let me finish it, and then I'm gonna let you speak." He said, "It's always easy for us to look at the person who's not doing the work, but y'all are doing the work. They're the spokesperson for it, because most of the time they're the most popular person. They're the person who always got the nail on, or the pair on, however you want to say it, wherever region we at. We say different things in different areas. But they're the people who are bringing the it factor to your organization. Yeah, it may suck, but you are doing the work." What do you all feel about that? Oh yeah, Larry, go ahead.
Yeah, that was kind of the same thing that was told us. Is while you're gonna have t-shirt wearers, while you're gonna have non-financial members, the second that they get into the fraternity is like, you got to look at it as what other characteristic does a person bring? Even nowadays, you got guys who are socially just all over the place, and everybody knows them, and they're good publicity, for the fraternity. They don't know how to run the business of Kappa. You got some guys that are historians that know all the knowledge and history, but they're not social. They're in the office somewhere. So it's like all of those aspects has to play a good part. I think the biggest thing is acknowledging those roles when it happens, and making that person not feel like they're an outcast because they just wear a t-shirt, but give them more so of a responsibility. Hey, if you don't wear a t-shirt, bro, you better be the most pero wearing MF that I ever seen. Every time I see you, you better have a t-shirt. If you don't do nothing else, and the guys who runs the business, if they don't feel like wearing some paraphernalia that day, or they don't feel like doing this, they don't have to. I mean, they're working, like Julian said. But the ones who are who take the back seat or don't do anything else, there are multiple offices inside of fraternities in which everyone can operate in. Just got to find your niche and work with it.
So I got a question. Are we talking about financial t-shirt wearers? Or are we talking about people who?
Period. I mean, I'm speaking of period.
That's not how Zeta works.
Yeah,
they can wear it.
I understand.
But
I understand. And again, like for me, life is crazy, right? I've had a lot of money, and I've had no money, and I've had a lot of money again. And in that experience, I realized when I had no money that all I could give was myself. All I could give was the work, the physical work that I could do. And then when I got a lot of money, I said, man, I don't really feel like doing that work. I'll give them the money though. But again, I'm constantly doing for something. I'm constantly making sure my activity, whether it's financial or physical or even mental or whatever aspect, is present. And
I think we're talking about two different things, though. I see what you're saying. And anybody who's not able to afford dues are expensive. I can't speak for no other order, but dues are expensive every year. If you can't, for whatever reason, life happens. I'm not saying that. And you can't pay your dues and you can give of your time. I'm okay with that. My problem and my experience has been with some of these people is they don't want to give up their time. They don't want to give up their money. Either one.
Yeah.
And they always have something negative to say. If you're not a part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
So
if you don't have either to give, I want you to sit back.
Yeah.
Don't come and complain to me about something that you're not even. I can't pay my dues right now, but I can do this. I can offer that. That's different from complaint. Can
I ask you this personally for Zeta? How do those complaints come out? Does it come out in like open forum, or does it come out privately? And
no, I mean, these are people that I know.
Yeah.
That feel some type of way. Well, why are we not doing this? Or why are we not doing that? Or why is this happening? Or why is that happening?
And see where I'm from, that just it gets shut down like this and say because you don't pay. And then they don't even get to talk. You know, I tell a lot of people I pay dues to be able to talk the noise and say what I want to say. And I will always pay dues to be able to say what I want to say. But the second that I don't pay dues, I know that I'm not going to say something. I know that I'm not going to be able to say what I want to say because that's the makeup that has been, established.
So let me ask you guys this then. So what you're saying and what I guess what your thought process is, if you pay dues, you can say something. If you don't pay dues, you can wear the shirts, you can do the strolls, but shut the heck up about what we're doing.
About the business.
Okay.
Yeah. Talk about the business.
I just want to make sure I was understanding what y'all was saying. All right.
I can't take your letters. I can't tell you what to do and what not to do. But don't come to me complaining about official Zeta business when you don't have a seat at the table. That's a problem for me. Because I pay to have a seat. Literally, people be like, you always pay your dues. And in the falls, your falls are sold up by the Legion. Yes. But when I'm able to show up, I want to have a seat at the table. I want to be actively engaged. What I don't want to do is run into you at homecoming on the plot and you ask me about official Zeta business. I don't care.
No.
So then, and I'm as you all are talking, I'm just coming up with random thoughts at this, So for those people who are the shirt wearers that don't pay dues, but they are always, and I don't know what it is with you or anybody else, but I'm just giving examples. They're the ones who are in the front of the stroll lines, and they the ones out there bringing the attention to the organization in a lot of good ways.
Yeah.
Do you all thank them for doing that?
Yeah.
On that end, even though they don't pay the dues, they can't say nothing, but they are bringing an attraction to the organization.
But it's not even a thanking them. It's almost like it's your obligation. It's your expectation, and
you ain't doing nothing else.
Go do it. Go do what you do best. And
you ain't doing nothing else.
Yeah.
So then
you didn't take I don't need to thank you. You didn't take an oath to me.
So then, do you thank the people who are actually doing the work? Do you thank the people who are paying the dues? Do you thank the people who? I think it's, and I'm not, and like I said, these are just questions I have. I'm not saying one's right or wrong either way. I'm just saying that if you thank one for doing one part of the work, even though it's not the substantial work that you all see as far as the dues and all that, shouldn't they get thanked for doing another part of the work? I'm just asking.
No, I mean let's keep it a buck, bro. 20% of the people are gonna do 80% of the work. Like that's just reality. Yeah. And so at the end of the day, it's like pick your poison. You know what I'm saying? Like Larry said, if you can't be financial and you wearing a shirt, represent it in a positive way. Like and inspire the next generation to become your respected organization. And when it's time for you to, when you get your money back right, make sure you pay.
Yeah. But let's be honest, y'all. Some of these people, it ain't financial.
Yes, they just don't want to. It's like it was a social thing to them. They wanted to. It's like they wanted to be a part of a society.
Ooh.
And then after that, it was what it was. However, if you believe in those precepts for your particular organization, then you hold yourself accountable. Because Portia says something that's real. There's a difference between an oath and an obligation. An oath is what you take between you and God. From that oath, that's what I'm obligated to. I know I'm obligated to my brothers because I took the oath between me and God. Now, if that's an issue between me and the God that I believe in, that's the issue between me and the man in the mirror. Outside of that, it is what it is. But I do agree, you need to find your niche, and your chapter needs to groom you. Your chapter needs to groom you to be like, all right, bro, if you're not, because when I first became an alpha, I was on the e-board the next fiscal year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Until I started becoming a band director, and I was like, yeah, being on the e-board, that ain't gonna cut it. So then I was like, I'm a general ed member, but I represent Alpha at my high school. Kids know what Alpha is at my high school. So they know about Greek life, they know about HBCUs, they know about those particular things. So at the end of the day, you can represent your organization in a different way, but represent it in the light that those founders, for me particular, my Jews would want it to represent. Am I registering kids to vote? Am I telling kids, hey, you have an opportunity to go to high school, go to college? Hey, have you ever thought about being a Boy Scout? Hey, like if you pushing your national programs, then you're still doing the work of what you're supposed to do. And at the end of the day, that's just what it is, bro.
I 100% agree with you. You kind of said what I said, but for me, my mind is just slightly different. Are you living your creed? So yeah, you doing what you're supposed to do. You wearing your stuff. That's fine. But behind closed doors, what are you really doing? And whether you're wearing a frat shirt or not, and whether a person knows your name or not, are you still living your creed? Yeah. So for me, that's my thought process. I could care less about a t-shirt where, okay, you wear that shirt, you paid your money, you went through what you went through. Somebody sees you, maybe they like you, that's fine. But when you don't have that shirt on, are you still exemplaring and exposing and shining that light of what your founders started, that organization that you wanted to be a part of? Can you still show me that without wearing those colors? So are you living your creed? That's my thought process.
Quan made me think of a question, and I don't want to take it away from what's currently going on, but I really want to ask this question to y'all because it's something that's it bothers me to my core. I really want to ask y'all, if I can, Julian.
Man, go ahead.
I like to stick to topic. Right?
You good? You good?
Quan goes off topic. I stick to topic.
Again, still getting me in trouble.
Yeah, you're very, very absolutely right. He does do that.
My question is, how do y'all feel about the people who have become too cool to represent the fraternity in which they pledged? And how do y'all feel about it? Like, for instance, and I'm going to give an example. Like, you know, I've literally pledged guys, and I'm not that old into the fraternity. I'm still fairly young. I've pledged guys, and then I've seen them like a year or maybe 2 years later, you know, at a fraternity's function. You know, they don't have on no payroll. They kind of just kick me in the back. And then when I talk to them, like, bro, what's up? Hey, oh man, you know, I ain't doing that. I ain't gonna stroll. I ain't gonna do all that. You know, that's old. Like, how does that make y'all? Because it's prevalent and it's in every fraternity and sorority. It's not just mine. I've seen it too many times. I've seen every fraternity, someone in every fraternity be like, nah, we too cool to rep. How do y'all feel about that?
Well, I know. Well, let me say this, and I'll let y'all go because I'm trying to do everything else. But I know that when I've seen this situation, it hasn't really just been because of they were just too cool. It was more or less because they did something else, and so now that something else takes precedent over the thing that they did previously. Basically, what I'm saying is, I know members of KK Psi who pledged other stuff, and then when it came down to KK Psi, like we all KK Psi will be around. It's like, nah, I'm good. You know, I'm good. But they got that other stuff on.
Yeah.
But than that, it's like, nah, I'm cool, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen that. So other than that, I've never seen anything else.
As somebody who does not wear a whole lot of paraphernalia, I just try to live my principles. I don't know that I'm too cool. I want people to see me and be like, it's something different about her, you know. But when I go to a sorority function, I'm gonna do what's required. But I'm not the person. I've never been the person that I'm gonna have on nail you from head to toe. First of all, they taught us we had a 2-piece.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not even nail, and it's not even a nail you standpoint. I'll let you. I apologize. I cut you off, but I'll revisit what Julian said.
I don't know. I'm not too cool. Like, I'll wear it if I have to, but I'm just not somebody that's gonna have on, a whole lot of stuff. But I don't know if that makes me weird, but I just
even in the sense of where it's like, let's say you said the undergraduate advisor, right? How often do you kick it with your the younger members and actually do things with them?
Kick it with them, like hang out with them.
No, like not in the realm of like doing the stuff that y'all used to do back in college, but just like let them know that you're still active, other than the business side.
I don't know that I understand the question.
Do you kick it with them outside?
Do you hang out with your girls? That's basically
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Do you hang out with the young babies? That's what he's asking.
Larry's always complicated.
Not really, because what I also don't want is for them to think we friends.
That's a whole different realm. I mean, that's a whole.
I mean, because then the lines get blurred.
True. Because do you feel like? Well, I'll follow up with this. Do you feel like after you finish your tenure as graduate advisor, you may be more susceptible to hang with them in social events?
Yes. I don't have the same restrictions. I don't have the same obligations in situations now when I don't want them to be too comfortable, because when it's time for me to correct something or to get this business handled, I don't want you to feel like, well, I ain't got to take her serious. No. So that's a different situation. Like, our rule now is we don't hang out. We don't really socialize with people. I mean, we do little stuff for them. They graduate, we get them things, stuff like that, but we tell them when you graduate, we can hang out. And we've done that. Like, but while you in this undergrad, and I mean, the other person, both of us in different capacity, the other advisor that came through my undergrad chapter, she works for the university. That gets a little sticky, and I have another position at the university with the Legion, so it's certain things that I'm just not gonna jeopardize fooling with these kids.
Understandable, definitely. And Julian, what you said in regard to KK Psi, that is very true. And I remember you coming down to PV. I think it was in like 2011 or 2012, and it was for our homecoming. And I remember you, like, we were stepping, and we kind of like chill back in the cut, and you was like, man, like, first of all, y'all don't ever stop. Like, you was like, y'all don't ever stop stepping. Like, no. But I don't know if you even recall how many older guys were there.
It's not that. So that situation is a little different, right? So I don't even put those two situations together in this particular conversation.
Okay.
Specifically because of the fact that I knew of Delta Psi.
Yeah.
But I hadn't had many experiences with Delta Psi until I got there for that Super Hump Day. So experiencing you all, as a matter of fact, no, let me rephrase that. My first experience with Delta Psi was in 2005 during the Honda, but that was a kind of outside experience because that for me was like, oh, they in here like trying to take the party over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When the 04 boys came in and they was hopping all night, for me, I was like, okay, well, that's they just showing out. You know what I'm saying? But to see that it was a norm, I didn't know that. So that for me was different because at in Norfolk, yeah, we hop. You know what I'm saying? We come through, we go through the party, but then we was on them cheeks. Like we wasn't trying to spend all day hopping. You know, we already got the chicks that looking at us. So now all right, come on over here. Let's get on this. You know what I'm saying? So to see y'all hopping the whole time, that was new for me. But that's when I also learned that that's what y'all do. That's Delta Psi all day. Yeah. So I think those are two totally different things.
I think what I was alluding to the fact is that like it didn't matter what fraternity we pledged after we did KKSI. We always made it a way to come back there, and we still do that. And then
facts. But once again, I think that's what makes Prairie View different, and that's what makes Delta Psi different specifically. Prairie View within itself, when it comes to Greek life, is to me, and I've been a lot of different places and experienced a lot of different Greek life. Prairie View within itself to me is just a completely different campus as it relates to Greek life. I think a lot of it has to do with just the fact that it's in the middle of nowhere and there's nothing around. So all you have is you. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So you have the availability to continue to create those bonds and stick with each other. And there's such a history and a rich history that goes on, not specifically with just the Greek life, but with the campus in general. So I think with all of those things, it makes Prairie View's Greek life so much different. So I agree. There's not been one brother from Delta Psi that I have met that I did not meet them as Psi. But then in a lot of chances, in a lot of situations, I didn't even know they were in a D9 organization until homecoming when I seen them in a shirt, because when they come around Psi, they're Psi 100%, and that's what I've always appreciated about D-Psi. And that's no slight to my chapter or anything like that. It's just, that's what I have experienced in the two different situations. So
respect.
I hope that answered your question. All right. Brother Jafar, I think you I know it's getting late. I don't want to hold you unless you got a couple more minutes.
I can take the couple minutes. I'm enjoying this experience.
Okay, cool. I did have one more topic. I did also put the link in the chat and open it up, guys, if you guys want to come in and ask these brothers some questions or ask us some questions or just anything that you want to talk about. I for some reason I keep this dude, whoever this person is, decides that they want to keep finding a way in here. And we have blocked them more than once. But okay. Let me I'll deal with that in a second. But let's move on. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band coaching, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like daddy. Let's get these likes up, man. If you're enjoying the content, go ahead and smash that like daddy. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passion Is Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcasting networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. I will deal with this in a second, but I do have one more question. My following question, the ending question, is this: as African Americans and Greek lettered organizations, whether it be Tau Beta Sigma, KK Psi, Alpha Sigma Alpha Iota, and all the D9 organizations, do you think that we could be doing more, specifically what has been transpiring in the last couple of years for the Black community? I wanted to ask that question just for your thought process.
But I think we are. but we just have to. I think we are. But I honestly, the only way we're going to get more change is honestly if we change legislation for the benefit of us. And I think honestly, Greek life and Greek organizations have been doing that. I mean, since before the civil rights movement, we talking about Niagara movement. So we've been doing those things for years. So at the end of the day, I think we just need to continue doing it. But can I be honest? I think social media is playing a part in diminishing what Greek life is and what it can be. So we have to be mindful and cognizant of that. But in regards of doing the work, I think we're doing the work.
And see you always bring up those random things, man, that I want to talk about. But anybody else get to that?
I'll let a lady go first. Guy's been talking a lot, and then I'll go.
Portia or Maya?
Difference.
Okay, well, while they're thinking and getting their thoughts together, I believe that I agree with Quan. What I would like to see amongst the Greeks is that we don't see a lot of. I would say there's a lot more respect now than there used to be, because Omegas used to be really disrespectful to Kappas and vice versa. We used to be a feud, and it's not as bad now. I mean, we still have rules and standards of what to do and what not to do, but
Yeah.
The bond is there. What I would like to see, and don't shoot me off for saying this, but I would like to see all of us to get on some kind of page and be consistent about it, and include those people who are wearing the gold and brown as well, because sometimes they get left out on purpose for maybe lack of respect or just ignorance. I would like to see that, but that's all. As far in the community, I'm reading the question. Thank you for keeping me on topic. In the community, I would like for not just the grad chapters, but the undergrad chapters to be seen in public working together.
Yeah.
There's still kind of a split. I think that would help us all out. So my 2 cents.
Absolutely.
I think we are doing the work. I can't speak for any other areas. Well, I can, because social media kind of gives you a window into what people are doing. I see a lot of great things happening from all of the orgs. But I do feel like there's been a lot more negative stuff being publicized here lately. And I just think that we need to be more cognizant. And this is more so on an undergraduate level about the things that we put out there. And educate our undergrads about how things can impact the image of their chapter, the image of the organization. But I do think the work is being put in. And I will say at Norfolk State, they're being better about, they've set up a program where they have to complete certain things and certain requirements to be considered active. And part of that requires that they work with another organization, an outside organization, to kind of bridge those gaps and build mutual respect in the process of developing programs and stuff like that. So, there are some things being put in place, at least here, to contribute to more unity, more mutual respect, and camaraderie amongst the D9.
Absolutely. I don't disagree with what you or Jafar said. Specifically, coming up in high school. Now, I'm going back a little bit. Coming up in high school, there were 2 organizations that I saw fight all the time. Two organizations that are right here on the screen.
Right, I already know what you're talking about.
Without a shadow of a doubt. And what I've learned, my best friend is an Omega, and I don't remember too much outward beef on Norfolk State's campus when I was on the campus. Now, were there beefs? Absolutely. but those are more personal issues than just like fraternity versus fraternity. But what I will say is, as I've grown older, some of the things that we used to carry as younger folks in the organization were so silly. And it was almost closely, and some people have also said this before, it was almost closely related to gang culture. And I think that one of the things that I have seen is there have been a little bit more camaraderie now with the younger generation than it was back when I was younger, because it didn't take nothing to be at one of the Kappa parties and one Q may just walk in. He may really want to be there. But one Q walk in and it's tight. They don't want him there. You know what I'm saying? It could have been anything. So I do appreciate it and enjoy seeing the camaraderie amongst the younger Greeks now than what I've seen before. So yeah, I think that is super, super dope. But I will say this, and Quan kind of brought this up a little bit. Has the social media kids allowed too much to be given to the masses?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, it's not as sacred as it used to be.
It's way too much on the internet. Like certain things, you just, like was said before, you had to be there, and now you don't have to be there. It's too free. And I don't quite understand it. Like, what made you post that? Or why did you feel the need to say this or do that on social media? Yeah, it's a little bit too free. I see some stuff now, I'm messaging them like, hey, take that down.
Yeah.
Take that down.
The process became more important than the work on social media. You know, they don't care about posting the work, but they will post their process and everything about it,
which is weird.
Yeah, for clout. You know, and it's the craziest thing. It's like, I'm not gonna lie, when I first was initiated to KK Psi, I was like a little bit embarrassed to tell people what I went through. Like, people laugh at me if they do the level of you know, what I allow, and I wouldn't tell people. And now it's like, I see it online. Like, people.
Well, that was a thing. Like, your process was your process. They had to be there. You know, you're not discussing it. You know, those things. And now it's I'm gonna let you know what I went through, so you can validate me. And it's like, that ain't how we used to check, you know, to make sure people was good.
No,
that info is
jokes.
What we use.
You know, it was inside jokes. You know, the brother from that actually saw you know, go through. Y'all didn't disclose that, you know, online. It would be maybe one word, you'll know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, again, discretion, it goes all back to that. But it's just, I see now, like, a lot of guys really glorify their process rather than who they actually are in the fraternity.
And that's why I was saying there's so much craziness put out there that you kind of cringe. Like, every time I get on, I'm like, ooh, like, what am I going to see today? And I just really, you know, wish they, you know, cherish certain things a little bit more than they do. And it's not all of them, but, you know, like anything, you know, you kind of get lumped in with the masses because it's happening in such a large number. And it's 9 times out of 10 somebody who is newer in the org.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have to ask this question, Larry, and I haven't. And to put this out here, I have my older cousin who's a noob, and then his son is a noob, and then my LB is a noob. But I've never had the chance to ask them this question. And I'm going to ask you this question, Larry. What is it like to go through Instagram and see so many people shimmying?
It's the ghetto. That you didn't even ask me, but that's the ghetto.
I mean, come on. I want to know the answer to this.
It's part of people's dance routines now.
So sometimes it's like sometimes it's insulting, and it's like, okay, let me first say this. The chapter that I am a part of in Preview's chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Zeta Beta, we don't shimmy at all.
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, we are no shimmy chapter.
Don't
So one, I don't. On the one end, I don't care because I don't shimmy. I've never shimmy. But being that it is a part of Kappa Alpha Psi and a part of the culture and the fraternity, on one end is like at some point you got to be like a little bit flattered, but then at some point it's like, man, y'all really like culture vultures. You know, y'all really are taking this from this this black fraternity, but y'all not giving us nothing for it. You know, it's funny. Like I even make jokes about it. You know, seeing like Bootsy, you know, wearing the shirt and then like doing the stuff that he does. It's like, oh man, that's real flattering. It's real funny. But then the people who like really monetize on it, it's kind of like insulting. And you know, what can you do? What can you do? It's put out there, so it's not like, you know, we can just claim it as ours. It's put out there. And
but go ahead. My bad. I wanted to let you finish. Oh.
Yeah, it's you know, it's flattering. You know, you being one of like, I say us and Omega is probably some of the most mimicked fraternities out right now. They get it confused. They either think we're them or they're us. And I mean, what you do, you just educate them and say, nah, I don't really do that. Definitely don't do it in my presence. Don't, you know, just chill. And then if they're online, just like, I don't even entertain it.
You know, I think that to me, and anytime I see it, I always think to me, you know, this to me goes back to, we just put too much stuff online.
Yeah.
You know, the discretionary aspect of the things that we do used to really just kind of be kept into the spaces and the areas and the confines of which we would do it, right? Like, if there was a Greek party, that's where that would happen at. If there was a step show, that's where that would happen. But now, you know, we're in the time now where people will be at the club or on a random vacation and they hear their favorite song and they doing it, but then you have the masses sitting around, then somebody got to record it and then put it on the Instagram feed or the TikTok joint, and now everybody's looking at it. Oh, that looks sweet. Let me do it. And then, you know, it gets passed around like that. But go ahead.
Think about it like this. That Omega chant became a song. And I heard this song overseas. I heard that chant overseas in the song, and people of a different nationality, culture, race, everything was saying this chant. And I just recorded it. And I recorded it like laughing. And I sent it to one of my, you know, homeboys who's in Omega. I'm like, wow, y'all are really like nationwide with this. Because it got famous from TikTok. And it was made by an Omega who just wanted to reach out to his brothers and say, hey, this is how these chants goes, you know, in case y'all don't know, and made a CD. That CD got out and boom, billion views, and everybody's making their own rendition of it. Like, it's out now. It's the world has it. It's no longer yours.
So in that regard, final question. Were you gonna say something, Jafar?
No,
okay.
I'm sorry.
No, you good. You good. So in that regard, final question: has social media made Greek life better or worse?
Worse. Period. Worse.
I'm gonna go with worse.
Yeah,
I think we've lost more than we've gained.
I'm trying to figure out how could it have made it better, other than like, other than like a monetary gain. I can't see how, like, I can't see how, because I know certain chapters monetize from social media, and that's the only way I can see it benefiting. But other than that, nah, I'm gonna go with the say worse.
The only thing I can come up with is I have seen some really, really dope things. Like it exposed me to new stuff. Like when we had a chapter in Dubai, We were the first to do that. And they presented them, after the ceremony and everything. And they had on all of the hair wraps in this gorgeous royal blue. And they standing in the desert and they introducing them. I was like, wow.
Yeah, super dope.
Super dope.
Super dope.
But that's the highlight. Like, it has exposed me to parts of my organization that I probably wouldn't have gotten the same way, not as fast. But that's all I got. That's the single thing that I got.
Yeah, that's it.
But to me, it's cost us way more than it's given us.
Yeah.
Like, some of this stuff that I see on social media, I just cringe. Like,
cringe, that word.
Who is allowing this? What are we doing? How did we end up here? Every negative thing that has ever happened in any D9 org, in KK's, any CIO, anything, it's just put on
social media
display. And I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but these denouncing announcements and whole lives and videos, it gets on my nerves. I want you to go sit down and shut up. Please just put your stuff in a box and be quiet. I don't, it's too much.
Amen.
It is way, and they coming one after the other. I just need to say I publicly came out, so I need to publicly denounce. I'm sorry, I am a Christian. I believe in Jesus, and I don't worship these letters over no God. To me, whatever you got going on in your life is personal to you, sister.
But all the obligations, if we're just gonna be honest, goes back to and says in Jesus' name. And if a person didn't learn Psalms 133,
come on,
then
there we go.
They really lied.
You can't
what
expect.
I'm telling you is your personal battles. Is your personal battle, sis. If you decided to start putting your organization above Jesus, that's personal. But Zeta has not told me to forsake. It points me back to the word. So I don't know what org you in, but I don't feel like you need to do all of that.
My brother E. Harold, he left, but he hit the nail on the head. Yeah, E. Hair. There's no way you can initiate members in the masses of the digits in which they are being initiated without giving up or sacrificing the sacredness of that organization. I'm not going to speak on any organization because, again, that's not my place. But I literally had someone initiate into an organization, and I knew them personally. Like can give them a call and say, "Hey, congratulations, man, that's amazing." However, on that same day, that person had 5 other people that I also knew personally that initiated into the same organization, same chapter,
and they ain't know each other.
Not one. Call all 5 of them. And say, "Hey, congratulations! You know such and such." Nope. Hey,
I'm sorry. Like I don't be. Let me keep it a book.
Yeah, it
was 9 of us, and I wanted to go crazy. 9 females. Child. 8 other people. It just still God, baby. When we was done, I was so happy. Let me tell you something. Happy. Yeah. So I could not imagine doing it with 20 other people, 40 other people, 50 other people. I'm sorry. As much as I had to learn about them, as much time as we spent together. First of all, what warehouse were we meeting at? Second of all. It was just
warehouse.
You pledged.
I mean, when you taking 110 people or 50 people or whatever, where's you taking these people to?
I don't know. I heard they did them in quarters or halves or something like that. I don't know how that works, but whatever.
Then it ain't a line; it's segments or something.
I want to answer your question, and I gotta go because my son almost burned down the damn house while we was on this doggone.
Oh Lord!
That happens.
So, I want to answer your question about social media. So for me, my take on the social media is this. Me personally, I know 2 grown men, one who happens to be a square on the side of the masonry that I made. I remember him writing that gold. Used data and information that was posted on social media, got information that they felt like they needed to perpetrate my fraternity. There was nothing that they didn't get off of social media. Not the internet, but social media. Formatted, photoshopped all that, started posting it on their page. So for me, that perp stuff, at least in my organization, social media has fueled them and gave them all that they needed to do. And then the internet tied with social media almost got these men killed. So that's my take on social media. I believe it's worse. I like seeing the new different things, as my fellow Greek through the Zeta said. I like that, but when they start acting like they went through what I went through, didn't pay a dime other than what they used for the software to change their pages up, yeah, I got a problem with it.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Yeah.
Well, I for me personally, I think that was the best way to go ahead and end that. Because yeah, because I know we could go down this rabbit hole for a long time. And I know we got to get out of here. We almost at the 3-hour mark, man. And yeah, I try to.
It was a great conversation.
Can
I come back? When can I come back?
Man, you can come back whenever you want to. All you got to do is hit me up, hit Quan up, one of us, and let us know, man. And you are more than welcome, man. But matter of fact, I'm about to just go ahead and close it out. So if you just want to stick around, and don't take that long to close out. Man, this has been a super dope episode. I appreciate everybody coming through. Mr. Ware, he had to I don't know what happened to him. He may have had to go. May have lost signal.
He said he had a conclave call. So
gotcha.
Going to work.
Doing that work.
Yeah, absolutely. Miss Jackson, she had to go. Ooh, so she had to step out, but she was in here for a small little minute. But I definitely appreciate her coming through. I will definitely like to get her back at some other point. But I will tell you this: as we were on the show, I didn't get a chance to answer the phone because we were right in the middle of the show. But Dr. Sanford called me, so I'm going to call him back. I definitely want to bring him on very, very soon to talk about his new book. If you all don't know, Dr. Sanford has a new book about his memoirs. So I definitely want to bring him back on. Justin just came into the goddamn room. Justin, I done put the thing out a long time ago. You're lucky you went to California. Boy, if you ain't go to California, I wasn't gonna let you in this time. But boy, I tell you, Jafar, I gotta let Justin in. I know you gotta go, brother. Man, I appreciate it. And you can definitely come back whenever you want, brother.
All right, thank you.
All right, man. Have a blessed
Good
night.
Bye.
Hey, why y'all letting somebody in? Quan? Personally, wait, not Quan. Julian.
Who is Simon? Hold on, I hear you. Who is Simon? I wasn't. Hold on, wait a minute. That must be.
I'm gonna tell this story, but go ahead, Mike. Larry, ask your question because I'm gonna tell y'all who Simon is.
Before you say that, I just want to say, Justin, I wasn't gonna let you in at first because I've been
backstage for a long time.
Like, who is Simon? I ain't letting this person in. I can't see who it is. All right, my bad. Go ahead, Larry. My bad.
No. I'm telling Quan. Hey, Quan. Personally, I'm looking at this chat stuff. Hit me up after this. Yeah. That's it. That's all I got.
You got it.
Oh, yeah. Man, all right. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Justin.
Man, I've been backstage for a long time, man. I should have changed my name, man. But I just want to say y'all were speaking a lot of stuff. One thing I just want to touch on.
Pause. We got to tell them who Simon is.
Tell them who Simon is, man.
So we at Disney. And they had all these rules. We had to have like this whole little debrief about what you could and couldn't do with Disney and all this other stuff. So we walking back after the parade, and the lady goes, "Simon, where's Simon? I thought I lost you." Justin is talking to me and goes, "I'm right here." I say, "Who the hell is Simon?" He telling me something. I wasn't about to tell her my real name. I don't know what I was gonna do up in here. So the lady was calling him Simon the whole day.
Listen, bro, she gave me this weird vibe. Like, why we gotta take a picture with you and there's 30 million of us here? Like, what we look like? You know what I'm saying? That's how everybody giving her a name. I'm like, name Simon, and where I got Simon from, we had Disney. They had the Elvin and the Chipmunk thing right there. So I was just trying to find a quick name. I seen Simon right there.
You gave him Simon's name. Oh my God.
Listen, let me tell you something. I was so confused. I said, Simon, who the hell is Simon? He told I'm right here. I said, I know you lying. I know you lying.
Oh no, you ain't about to get my real name here.
That's Simon, guys. That's who Simon is.
Oh Jesus, man. Just Simon, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Right, it was the whole trip. It was amazing, man. I learned a lot. You know what I'm saying? It was good kicking it with the Legion for the weekend. You know what I'm saying? Questions funny as hell. See what it is. Seaman, he funny too. It was just like
Seaman, you know Seaman, my section leader. I don't yeah.
Y'all history got brought up a lot. You know what I'm saying? Y'all some legends in the organization. I'm already knowing, but just being with them, it was funny kicking with y'all the whole time. Mr. B, but they're funny. What's her name?
Miss Sanders.
Miss Sanders is cool as hell. She said Happy New Year a million times on that damn parade route. But just the whole weekend was positive. The kids did amazing. Portia didn't even describe it enough. Like the energy they gave on that damn field show. I'm like, God damn, this. Well, I don't know. This ain't a competition, but they kicking butt on this damn field. So just getting the love from the whole Legion family. Y'all should be extra proud of them. Alumni really came out and supported. There was so many of them down the damn parade route. I'm like, damn, like they really showed out for the culture. And when y'all say other HBCUs, even my people from Southern were like, damn, them boys sound good. And that's just my whole thing. Like talking to everybody, like we just need to see y'all more. You know what I'm saying? The world see the Legion right here. So we see y'all more like, down south, who knows what the possibilities are. Like I was even talking to one of the damn administrators. They set me up. What his name is, drum instructor? Boy, name is him, light skin dude. He set me up. Yeah, Sean set me up. This lady saying, "Hi, Smash Time, you got some great videos." I'm talking to this lady, all regular. She like the provost of the school or something like that. I'm like, oh, man, I ain't saying that. I wasn't supposed to say. Yeah, man. But back to the conversation about the Greek thing. One thing I just want to touch on. I ain't know nothing about Greece going into college. Like I just knew like they got the pretty boys, got the dudes who hop all them. So I ain't know nothing about. I was green, just a hood dude from New Orleans. One thing I can say, some of the problems that like Greeks have be brought along from Greeks. You know what I'm saying? So like to somebody who don't know nothing about something, like some bad traits. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking they do this because I see that one do that. You know what I'm saying? And he may be the coolest one, but he ain't doing no actually working in the organization. So I'm deciding on what organization I want to be in because I think he cool and that's what he's doing. And I think that's what all of them do. So some Greeks give each other a bad rep. Another thing I want to say is sometimes at different schools go through different stuff. Like I know at Southern everybody plays. I just everybody plays everything at Southern, but you go to a PWI, another school, and see, damn, like this all y'all got to do to be a part of what y'all trying to be a part of. So it kind of makes a shift like that. So like they do this, but they only got to do that. So some people will like change and go to another school to get it the easy way. So there's different things coming from somebody who's not in Divine Nine that seen a lot in college that I can see why a lot of the problems happen and a lot of stuff that y'all are concerned about. You know what I'm saying? I see where the problems start. It just a misdirection and a misunderstanding of how some traits can be passed on. But that's all I want to say about some.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, there's not really much that we can say other than you're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong. But let me get back to the Simon thing because no, I'm just messing with you. No, I honestly, just to kind of go back and just kind of get back to the Rose Bowl very quickly, and then I'll jump back into the Greek stuff. I will say again, and I know I told my wife this, and I think I had a quick conversation with Quan about it too. I really appreciate you being there. I appreciate the fact that you were able to get the Legion in a way that many people have not been privy to see on that kind of a platform for so long, right? It wasn't just a one-day situation. It was a it was a couple of days, and you were able to film them in that particular manner, and not just specifically you, but other people as well. But I know that we speak to you a lot more often than we speak to everyone else. But as a Legion member, as an alumni, I will tell you that it is truly appreciative for what you did this past weekend and just the work that you do. I'm back on social media. Let me put that out there. It's January. I'm back, but I'm not back. I have enjoyed my time not being on social media. So I peeked in, I peeked my head in, and I peeked my head right back on out. But in that process, I've been able to see some of the stuff that you were also able to put up in Midwest. And I just want to continue to say respect to you, brother. I really truly consider you a part of this family, this Passion Is family, not just Talk That Talk, but the Passion Is family. Because at any point, at any time when we have challenged you on something, or we have brought something to the table for you, you have made it a point to step out there and go do it and bring light to a lot of situations that in most cases, most people won't do. And so I definitely thank you for that. I appreciate you being a part of the Legion for a little while.
I wish I could have got a poncho. Shit, I was scared of what one.
So hey, but
I want to say my footage from this damn parade, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, hey, the shit y'all seen that was cool, but see the parade footage. I think this might be like my top work. I might drop it tomorrow or the day after, but this shit is fire. The mountains in the back, oh man, I said, damn, how did this? You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna post that tomorrow. Everybody been blowing my DM up about where the videos at. I got more to come, like from the parade. It's really a damn that whole movie I'm putting together.
Practice footage and
the practice footage alone. That's gonna y'all gonna have something to watch, but y'all really should be proud of them kids. Like we was talking Portia, alumni. Listen, bro, those kids did a hell of a job. You know what I'm saying? Now I started sending them damn dollars in. You know what I'm saying? Because they could do a lot more. And like I told Mr. Patel, I'm looking forward to seeing them against Tennessee State next year because 2 reasons. One, Tennessee State don't play Jackson no more. So no more Southern Heritage Classic. The only person on this schedule as an HBCU is y'all, and I would love to see it. So the job they did this past weekend, administration passed them funds so they can go down to the Tennessee State. I'm just putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I definitely want to see them there.
It's things in situations like not specifically just the Rose Bowl, but people like you who make those things possible. When people are able to see them on a grander scale. Because there are a lot of people who may not have seen the Rose Bowl, who can care less about the Rose Bowl, but they watch you. And so they're able to see that. So once again, man, hats off to you, brother. Once again, you were able to learn the ways of the Legion a little bit. You ain't go through a camp, but you got a little bit of it.
Listen.
I hope that you got to see the way that we approach performance versus out of performance.
Uniform checks. Uniform checks. That was the biggest thing. Uniform check. I'm like, wait, hold on. So we got uniform checks. Y'all lined up like this, guys. I said, God damn. I wanted to go live, bro, but I don't know the way to land. I'm like, y'all need to see some of the stuff that's going on with these man. I'm talking about.
And look, you think it's bad with now. Imagine back in my day when we had to put them 4 chains on and we had to make sure them joints are strapped. I'm telling you, hey, we had this conversation before. It's a completely different animal.
Yeah.
When you
Justin got some real behind the scenes in the mud,
but
exposure.
That's the beauty. That's the beautiful side of social media. So now he can expose that.
But band is different though. It ain't like Greek life. Band is different. You can't get the behind the scenes of the Greek life. I'm telling you right now.
I don't want it.
You don't want none of that. I'm telling you. But no, man, I once again, man, I appreciate you, brother. There were some things that I was thinking about after watching some of your videos that you put up with the Legion, and I'm definitely gonna get with you on that. Probably within the next week. So just look for me to reach out to you. But I do have a question for you. This is off topic from Legion and Greek stuff. Are you going to Atlanta?
Yeah, man. All 3 times.
Did you get the field pass daddy yet?
Not for the one that y'all going to. They made me fill it out, but for the one next week, yeah. But if not, I'm gonna be in that. I'm gonna be in that some kind of way. It's not what I'm worried about.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that. I'm trying to get that field pass, daddy. So if you get that field pass joint for the joint in February, man, get with me. Get me. Get
a staff
right.
member. It's a staff member, right?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm gonna be at some kind. I'm gonna see about the media pass. If I don't need one, I just pass you everything I get.
Right. Well, see, before Portia, why are you looking like that?
I mean, she got me. I think I'm in the building. I think, you know? But there's a lot of. I mean,
Julie, you coming? Julie, you coming?
I want to tell you, like, I'm coming, and then it'll be like, nah. All right, so let me just put it to you like this. We are, if you can see my screen, I got the flight joint up here, I got the hotel daddy up here, I got the car daddy up here. So we working it out. Working it out.
You gotta come, man, bro. That's Atlanta, bro. Get the ticket now. It's gonna be cheap. It's gonna be like $220 round trip.
If y'all don't mind me, what's going on in Atlanta?
If Quan go, I'm going.
Quan,
it's about Larry. It's about all the bands.
It's not Honda, right? It's the culture, right? The HBC culture.
Actually, the same people.
That's on my Founders Day. No, this is the first weekend in February. It's us, Bethune, Alabama State, Tennessee State, A&T, and South Carolina State.
No, that's TMEA weekend for us, the 8th.
It's the 4th.
It's the 4th.
No, it's the 4th.
It's the 4th.
Yeah,
he tried it.
We're going.
I still can't go. I got 23 performances this semester.
We're going, Quan?
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are.
Quan,
I'm gonna talk to you. See, I got to.
Unless we doing a straight,
like y'all be doing me.
We're gonna do a straight round trip. All right,
we gonna talk.
We're gonna talk.
We gonna talk. Okay, we gonna talk.
We'll see.
But yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to make sure I got that out. But yeah, man, Larry, you come down, man. Use your cop credentials. You got it.
Nah, I mean,
all you gotta do is flash the badge, right? Ain't that how it works?
Right. That's called abuse of power, and we don't do that, Julian. I want to say that online and on the national spectrum that you have. I don't do that. I don't abuse my power like that.
Okay, all right, I got you. But no, man, Justin, Simon, whatever you said, I appreciate you, brother. Once again, yeah, as far as the Greek life thing, yes, and I think Crystal said it. Greeks can be very off-putting to students who just don't know anything. Mm-hmm. She was absolutely right on that.
Informational and not interest meeting, because maybe I'm not interested. Maybe I'm just trying to get info.
I can tell you right now, back in my day when you had the interest meeting, and I mean it may still be happening. I mean, guys was already on. The interest meeting was just to see if there's any other scragglers we can pick
preliminary.
up.
You see the people with the high GPAs.
It's still like that.
You see the people with the high GPAs.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, brother. So I appreciate you. Like I said, I'll be getting with you within a week, man. I got to get some things ironed out for this week with some other stuff. But then after that, brother, I'll be getting with you. All right.
I bet. Quan, send me that information for TMEA too. Remember, you send it to me.
Gotcha, bro.
All right, man.
All right. Appreciate you, bro.
All this thing, y'all.
Cool.
Let's go ahead and get ready to get out of here, man. Quan, well, no, let's start with Larry, man. I appreciate you hanging out with us, coming through here and providing your insight and your thought process.
Now we can.
Y'all couldn't hear me?
No.
For a second, you was a little frozen.
Oh man, my Wi-Fi going down. I'm running like 20 things on my goddamn internet. Anyway, but no, man. I'm gonna start with Larry. I don't know if y'all heard any of that, but I'll say it again. I'll start with Larry. So I appreciate you coming down and kicking it with us, hanging with us, man, and giving your insight on all these things, man. Not necessarily Kappa, but all the other stuff that you were able to give out and all the other information. Listen, man, I'm gonna mess with him forever. I'm gonna be old and gray. And he probably ain't gonna let his grades grow in. But you know, whenever
a couple,
you got a couple, but I don't see you letting all the gray in. But I'm gonna still mess with him forever, man. As a matter of fact, I used to call him Chris Brown back in the day, because I used to think he used to look like Chris Brown a long time. He ain't had no facial hair and all that kind of. That was different. That was a young. Yeah,
that was my crab name.
Thank you. See, thank you, Quan. It's like of course you'll be like, no, listen. If you would have seen him when he was younger, he was a completely different looking dude.
I didn't say anything.
No, I saw you look up like, yeah. But Larry, man,
I don't know if
yeah, that was a man.
That was terrible.
Nah, I had to sing, man. I was trying to get in the band, trying to get in my respective section.
Oh,
yeah, that was my crab name, and the skits was singing.
You had to dance too.
That was huh?
You had to dance too.
Yeah, I had to do the works, man. That was Chris Brown first CD when he first. Yeah,
absolutely.
What do you play? Or what is?
I play snare drum.
Okay.
I'm a member of the band.
So when I didn't. Okay, let me see. I always got to go in these random stories when people I know come on. So once again, I've known this guy since he was in elementary school playing snare drum. He came up to Willow Ridge, and I even remember watching videos of him because I was well into college when it happened. But I remember going back and watching PV videos and seeing him with the bald head, and I was like, man, look at this little dude, man. I grew up, right? So when I came back as a staff member at PV, Larry's like a legend. I'm like, this little dude, I remember. So, but no, he's a snare drum player. He's a percussionist, man, and he's regarded as one of the coldest that ever come through the section, man. And he gets a lot of respect when he walks through the door. Hey, you can say that, Larry, but when I was there. And I sat back and watched when you walked into it, hey man, that boy Larry cold. That boy Larry cold. And I ain't never, none of them saw you play. You know what I'm saying? Now, during your time, they may not all feel that, but these young dudes, or at least the young dudes that was there when I was there, they started you was that. So,
I appreciate it. It was, what was crazy is I remember you coming back to Willow Ridge. I think I was like a junior. And you was like, listen, I know you real big in this PV box stuff, but you gotta check out. You gotta check out the Funk Squad. And I'm like, what? Who?
I probably did say that.
And he was like, the $1 Million Funk Squad. I was like, who is that? He was like, it's the drum section in Norfolk, bro. You gotta check them out. They're real good. I was like, no, they're not better than the box. Nobody was better than the box in my high school eyes. And I watched the video of them. And I was like, dang, these dudes are really good.
Bro, world
and they're cold.
Honda?
Huh? No, this is way before. This is when I was in high school, right? They was like, I'm watching hours of videos. And I'm like, damn, they are cold. The only thing that for me was like, nope, is they wore gloves. they play with gloves.
They play with the gloves. Hey.
They play with gloves. I was like, nah, But it was one of those things that how you privy to one thing, and then you see something else, and you're like, oh shit, that's dope.
It's different.
But it was like, man, listen, well, that box stuff.
I mean, in all fairness, that was the same way I felt about going to the Legion, because when I got there, when I got there for the campus, it was like a campus tour before I actually got into the school. And I couldn't get past the helmets. The helmets, I just couldn't. I wasn't digging it. I showed up, and at the time, I don't know if they still do this, Portia, but we would have like stuff in Wilder, for the Legion as far as like recruiting and stuff like that. And when I got there, they had the uniform hanging up with the helmet in the center, and I was like, man, that uniform tough, but that ugly ass helmet, man, I can't put that on, man. And I wore it, you know what I'm saying? It was hard for me to get through because, I wanted to come through rocking my Shaco with the plume down, you know what I'm saying? But, so no, I feel exactly what you're saying. But no, man, go ahead.
No, I really thank y'all for having me. A lot of times I
I do not regard myself in a way that I feel like people want to listen. So I appreciate y'all just inviting me to this platform and allowing me to speak with y'all, man. I respect every single person on this platform. I've, viewed and looked at different shows, and, Quan being my line brother, you being my big brother, Portia being like the real voice and really letting it be known, and Maya being like low-key like the superstar. Just with everybody knowing who she is and see how she does it. That's how I am. So I really appreciate y'all. Shout out to the Newts, man, and Kappa Alpha Psi Psi Founders Day tomorrow. So it's a national holiday. Everybody gets to have fun. Y'all can even come out. It's a weekend. It's a weekend event. We start off the January festivities for all the other fraternities and sororities. So we do it. We do it first. We do it the best, and it's a real celebration. Y'all have fun with it. Tag a noob, PayPal a noob. Tell them Happy Founders Day, Happy J5.
I
really J5, Larry. That's about it. You down the Damien. That's it.
I was really trying to get through this without any more hate. But no, Larry, for real. I know you got your business, man. Go ahead and talk about your business and be able to let people know where they can find you and all that kind of stuff too.
Oh, definitely. So my profession, my career is I'm in law enforcement. I've been a police officer for 12 years. And throughout that, I've gained some talents and some skills that have allowed me to open up a business where I train people on how to safely and proficiently operate firearms, whether it's pistols or rifles. So if you need any type of firearms training, I know y'all see what's going on in the world today, and it's not becoming any safer. It's becoming more dangerous. So you have to, learn how to protect yourself. And my business focuses on how to protect yourself by safely and proficiently handling a pistol or a firearm. So, if you need that, my business name is Basic Good Firearms. You can locate me on www.basicgoodfirearms.com. I'm on Instagram, Basic Good Firearms, and I even started TikTok, but they tried to ban me, so I don't put any type of business stuff on the TikTok. But yeah, that's how you find me, man. And if you're in the Houston area, I travel anywhere in the state of Texas. So get at me if y'all need that.
There it is. You already know. I think Camille and I already told you we got to get you down here in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Maya. Any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
No, not really. I mean, just happy to be here per usual. It's always cool to be able to sit back and get a new perspective and gain knowledge. So when there is power in the room, I like to, soak all of that up. So definitely a good conversation to be a part of, or witness rather.
Awesome. And then you're going to sleep good tonight because it's cold.
My teeth hurt so bad.
You need to go to the dentist.
No, I got, what do you call those things? Nope. Aligners. Yeah. And so I
thought I saw something different in your gum region.
Yeah. So they've been really kicking my tail.
Okay. All right.
When you change them out. Yeah.
All right. Portia, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
To all my recent Greeks, new Greeks, aspiring Greeks, it's not that we don't want you. The organizations definitely need you to keep going. Our old bodies can't keep doing it forever, but just think before you act and make sure that the things that you're doing are projecting your organization in the best light possible. It's not that we don't want to need you. I don't want it to seem that way.
All right. Quan, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
Nah, bro. Happy New Year. Great show. I'm excited. Miss y'all. I get excited every week. We get to reunite. You did. Let's finish the year off strong for my educators. And don't forget to celebrate MLK Day.
Oh, shoot. There we go. Absolutely. How do I mute myself and unmute myself? All right. Anyway, absolutely. You haven't started school yet, right?
We start Monday with kids.
Okay, so you just in there.
Yeah, but we had band practice today, so
there you go. All right. And then, man, I don't have much other than the fact that your Greek experience is what you make it. Get your knowledge that you need to get from your people, specifically your older folks, because they know. I mean, we can't, young folks, we can't disregard the knowledge that has come before you. You can't grow without learning what you had before. Right? And stay your butts off of social media. Stop putting all the Greek stuff on social media. You'll be all right. Other than that, man, I have nothing else. Dang it. There we go. Other than that, man, I have nothing else. This has been a super dope episode. It's been a great time to have all of my people back in here. Great to see Portia again with the hair going in after she came back from this thing. I already know she's going to snatch it off and go right back into bed because she said she could sleep this whole time. But I'm so happy. That she made it down there. I was able to see Mr. Bethea go across the screen and Miss Sanders go across the screen. And I was like, dang, I want to see Portia go across the screen. But then she was like, no, I'm good. I ain't doing none of that. But I'm glad that they all made it home safely, man. It's super dope to just be able to see you guys make it and land safely.
Oh, let me tell you this. We arrived back to a police escort. We didn't have to worry about no red lights. It was a little party out there. DJ Vince was playing. It was a little slow. When we got back last night.
Oh, y'all was like, y'all won the championship. Man,
it was a lot. When we saw them police officers, it was one in the front, one on the side, one in the back, stopping traffic. It was something else.
Y'all was celebrities for a day. Look at that. Oh, a lot of days, actually. Man, I'm just so elated about that. I'm about to go watch a couple more videos. No, I'm not. I'm going to sleep because my wife kicked my butt if I'll try to stay up. Anyway, man, let me go ahead and close this thing out, man. This has been super dope. We will see you guys on Wednesday. Next Wednesday. All right. That's it. See you guys next Wednesday, man. This has been great.